Welcome to the Beginner's Complete Faceless YouTube tutorial for 2026. If you guys are brand new to Faceless YouTube channels or if you're just getting started, this video is going to be for you because this is going to be a compilation of my best videos of all time on how to start and make money with Faceless YouTube channels. It's going to give you every single thing that you need to know, and it's going to take literally hours worth of content that I've produced throughout the years of me being online, teaching you guys how to make money with Faceless YouTube channels and putting it all in one place so that you can get started and understand this business model from A to Z. And if you guys don't know me, my name is Razvan Paraschiv. I've dedicated the last 5 years of my life to learning and running Faceless YouTube channels, and I've been able to change my life completely. I went from broke to millionaire at 19 years old thanks to this business model, and I've helped thousands of other people do the same through content such as the video that you're watching right now or through personal mentorship, but that's beside the point. In this guide, I'm going to literally break down everything when it comes to understanding this business model, such as choosing a profitable niche, hiring your team, and finding money-making video ideas. And all of those things are going to help you guys to make money with Faceless YouTube channels. So let's begin. First of all, if it's the first time you're hearing about YouTube automation or you don't know exactly how it is or how it works, well, it's simply a business model that allows you to make money on YouTube without showing your face, recording any videos yourself, and actually doing very little work. I know that sounds a little bit too good to be true, but it's definitely not a get-rich-quick scheme. You cannot become a millionaire overnight, and you cannot be sipping mojitos on the beach immediately after you start this business model. But all of that, it's actually possible through delegation and automation. You see, instead of doing all the work yourself, like scripting, editing, filming, recording, graphic design, and all of that stuff, you actually want to outsource the work to freelancers online who will do it all for you. And if that might sound expensive, because it definitely did for me when I first started, you can actually get all of that done and put together a video for less than $100 US. So once you have the videos done by your team of freelancers, you want to take those videos, upload them to YouTube, and if you know what you're doing, if you've done your research beforehand, those videos will get a bunch of views and YouTube will pay you for the views. YouTube has this thing called the YouTube Partner Program where every member of the program is getting paid for every 1,000 views that their videos are generating, and it's a pretty lucrative way to make an extra $3, $5, maybe $10,000 per month on the side of your job. Now, Faceless YouTube channels and YouTube automation are brand new, untapped opportunities with massive potential for regular people. And the reason why I say that, and I want to highlight regular people, is because the business model has actually been around for more than 10 years, but before or prior to this, it was mostly media companies or big corporations who were taking advantage of it. Let's take a look at this company, for example. It's called Valne Media. And if you go on their website, you will see that they get over 16 million views or visits per day, and they have over 130 million subscribers on social media platforms. Now, what's interesting about them, or how are they related to the YouTube automation business model, is that that's the exact model they have been running for years and years, and they're not the only company out there. There's plenty more. If we look at some of their brands in their portfolio, we can find channels like Screen Rant talking about movies and TV, Game Rant talking about gaming, Simple Aviation, which is a very interesting one, covering aviation news, and The Richest, which is one of the first channels that I personally discovered when I started this business model, when I started YouTube automation 40 years ago. Now, this one YouTube channel alone, The Richest, has been around for more than 10 years on YouTube, and I'm sure it generated the company millions and millions of dollars, and the interesting part is that it's still going to this day. It's making normal videos about luxury, but why this is relevant for us and why this is relevant for these people is that they're not the only ones. There are regular people with similar channels out there who are doing the same thing, making anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 per month. Let me show you. I did a little bit of research, and in less than 15 minutes, I was able to find 3 channels that are ran by regular people, most likely, that are doing a similar job as I said, and I'm sure they're making a lot of money. Let's take a look at them. We have this one right here called King Luxury, another one called Luxury Zone, and a more interesting one that's called Old Money Luxury. Now again, unlike The Richest, which is owned by Valne Media, which is a big media company, they've been around for a long time, these channels I'm pretty sure are ran by regular people like you and me. I watched their videos and I'm very confident that all of them can be done for less than $100 each. And in terms of revenue, here's where it gets interesting. Let's run the numbers a little bit. If we look at their monthly views using this extension called vidIQ and apply the formula that you see right now on the screen, I'll have my editing put it up,
Here's a rough estimate of how much these channels are each generating. So Old Money Luxury, I think, is making around $7,000 per month. King Luxury Zone is crushing it, and I think they're making $30,000 to $40,000 per month to be conservative. And then Luxury Zone is also doing at least $12,000 to $15,000 per month. Not too shabby if you ask me, and it's also worth mentioning that luxury is not the only niche that's profitable on YouTube. That's not the only way how you can make this type of money. The beauty with this business model is that you can go into pretty much any niche you want, and there's a way to make it profitable. It can be your hobby, it can be what you do for your job, it can be your profession, or it can be something that you're truly passionate about and you never had time to explore it. I'll jump on my computer and give you a couple more examples of exactly how this can look like. So here's a few more. We have this channel right here called The Atlantis Report, which talks about the US economical news, which again, it's not something that I'm personally interested in, but I see how this could be very interesting for somebody else. We have The Sportist, which is covering sports news, the B1M, which is an amazing one, making videos about constructions and the largest projects in the world, military history, and you can probably get a good guess on what they're talking about, Pure Nutrition, making health-related videos, and on a less serious note, more entertainment-related, there are a bunch more channels. One of my favorites recently, it's this one called American Rewind, bringing back the 70s, 80s, and sometimes 90s from the good American old age. We also have Top Cars TV, if you're passionate about cars, or Red 5, which is making videos about Star Wars. The list goes on, but now let me explain what are the simple steps that you need to follow if you want to make money with this business model. Step number one is to choose a niche, and the most important part here is to make sure that you go into something viable where you have the opportunity to make money. I would look at competitors, meaning similar channels that are doing something similar to what I'm doing, and reverse engineering how much money they're making. If they're making an amount of money that I would be comfortable with, whether that be $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 per month, and are also doing something that I'm passionate about, something that I have a slight inclination towards, that's a very good starting point. Step number two, you need to put together a team. This might sound a little bit complicated, especially if you're working a corporation, but I can assure you that it's nothing like that. We're not gonna have to go through multiple screening processes, youth hunters, or anything like that. Actually, it's pretty straightforward. You just need to go on platforms like Fiverr, Upwork.com, or maybe even YT Jobs and look for experienced freelancers who have experience and have done before the type of videos that you want to make. And then you want to hire them to script, edit, and record the videos for you. Now, a very important mention, when I say record, nobody actually needs to be in front of the camera and record their face like I'm doing right now. With this business model, with YouTube automation, we're making faceless videos, meaning the editor will take up footage, clips, screenshots, a bunch of stuff and mix them together on top of a narration, right? That's a voice narration, and that's what we want people to record for us. It's just their voice, not their face. Between the scriptwriter, voiceover actor, video editor, and thumbnail designer, so 4 people, I'm pretty confident that you can get a video done for less than $100 even if you are a beginner. In my community, where we have over 2,500 beginners start and do this, on the last survey that we did, where we covered 200 people, the average cost per video was $68, right? So again, it can definitely be done for much lower, it can definitely be done for much higher, but my recommendation, if you're just starting out right now or if you're thinking about it, is to start lower, and then as you learn a little bit more and as your channel starts making more money, then you can start spending more on your videos if you want to improve the quality. Now, step 3 is to find video ideas and upload the videos to YouTube. Once you've decided on your niche and put together your team of freelancers who are going to help you execute on that strategy, all you need to do now is to find videos that you're gonna make and upload them to YouTube. Now, unlike what a lot of people think, you don't need to be a creative person to do this. I don't consider myself creative, and I've done just fine. You don't need a business degree, you don't need a marketing degree, you just need to spend a little bit of time on YouTube doing research. What you wanna spend that time on? Researching competitors. You wanna look at the successful channels in your space, the channels that are posting content similar to yours and are making the amount of money that you wanna make, and then you wanna see what's working for them, what videos are working, what videos are not working, and then you want to model the decently successful ones. You don't want to copy their videos one-on-one. This is a mistake that I see a lot of beginners make, but instead you want to model them. You want to do something a little bit different, change the angle or slightly changing one of the variables. That will be enough. Here's a few examples. So first of all, I found this video titled "Bombshell Dropped on Decision About Horner's Future" that got 32,000 views. And then after doing a little bit of research, I found another competitor, so somebody else, making this video titled F1 drivers drop bombshell on Red Bull after Horner verdict, which we can agree that it's a very similar topic. It's probably the same idea, they just reworded it, just rephrased it, and probably speak about it from a different angle. And this video isn't as successful as the first one. It doesn't have 32,000 views, but it has 15,000 views, which is still pretty good. That's a lot of money to be made out there. And here's another one that's a little bit less specific. We have top 10 best action movies on Netflix, best Hollywood action movies to watch in 2022, 1.1 million views. And then somebody else made this other video called Top 10 Brutal Action Movies on Netflix, Amazon Prime 2023, Best Action Thriller Movies. This one also has 120,000 views, which again is not a million, but it's still 120,000 views, which is hundreds of dollars right there. When it comes to finding ideas, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just stick to what's working, do your research, add a little bit of extra sauce, extra spiciness to the video, and that will do. So to do a quick recap, in big lines, if you want to make money with YouTube automation, you need to follow those 3 steps. Number 1, pick a niche. Number 2, put together a team. And number 3, come up with video ideas and upload those videos to YouTube. Now, if you follow these steps, upload the videos to YouTube, YouTube will pay you once you're in the partner program for every 1,000 views that your channel generates. And the best part is that this business model allows us to structure it in a way in which after the business is set up, after the channel is set up, which can take up to 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks, depending on how fast you move, you can manage a channel with only a couple of hours per week of work, because the team are the ones who are doing all the work. You just need to manage the team, which can be done from your phone or from your laptop from anywhere in the world.
Now, later in this free training, I go in depth about each of the 3 YouTube automation pillars. But before we can do that, I need to show you the biggest mistake that kills most YouTube channels before they even get started.
In this video, I'll share 7 mistakes that I made over the last 5 years and how to avoid them so you don't just try this business model and fail. The first mistake is what I call the blind niche gamble. Look, I get it, you see someone making money with a finance YouTube channel, so you think, I'll just start a finance channel too. Or maybe you're into cars, so you'll figure you'll make car videos. But here's the problem. You're essentially throwing darts at the board with a blindfold on. You have no idea if there's actually be money to be made, how much competition you are facing, or whether you have any advantage whatsoever. And I see this all the time. People spend months creating content in niches that are either completely saturated or don't pay well, and then they wonder why they're not making any money. Instead, you need to do your homework. Spend a few days, maybe even a week, researching niches where you actually have an unfair advantage. Maybe you know more about the topic, maybe there's less competition, or maybe you've worked in that industry before. Don't just pick something because it sounds cool, pick something because you can dominate it. Now, even if you pick the right niche, the second mistake can still kill your channel. And this is what I call the random video roulette. You sit down to make a video and think, what should I talk about today? Then you just come up with some random idea off the top of your head. So maybe you'll think, I'll make a video about top 10 fastest cars, because that's something that you're personally interested in right now. But once again, you have no idea if anyone actually wants to watch that, if it's been done 1,000 times already, or if you will get any views at all. So here's what successful channels do instead. They reverse engineer what's already working. They look at their competitors' most popular videos, see what's getting millions of views, and then create their own version with a unique twist. So don't reinvent the wheel, just make it a little bit better. Next on the list is falling for what I call the AI shortcut trap. You've probably seen those TikToks or Instagram posts showing someone generating Blue Yeti videos or history videos with the help of AI, claiming you can make thousands with just 2 button clicks. And look, I love AI. I use it for scripts, voiceovers, even thumbnails, but if you think you can just press a few buttons and generate videos that people actually want to watch, it's gonna be a long day, my friend. YouTube's algorithm is smarter than that, and more importantly, so are the viewers. They can tell when your content is just AI slop with no real value that you make purely for money. Plus, YouTube doesn't even monetize most of these automated channels anymore, so you need to create content that people genuinely enjoy watching, not just content that's easy for you to create. So what does that actually look like? It means doing real research for your scripts. It means adding value to narration and video editing, and it also means using AI as tools to help you, not as a replacement for actual value. So the key here is, if your viewer can tell it was purely made with AI, it's probably a bad sign. So you want to use AI to speed up the process, but you can always add that human touch that makes people actually want to watch. Now here's the mistake I made when I got started. I was obsessed with making money fast. I was messaging everyone asking, how fast can I make money? And if you're young and hungry like I was, I totally get this mindset. You want results right here, right now, not a second later. But here's the brutal truth. This mentality will actually slow you down. When you're focused on making money in, let's say, 30, 60, even 90 days, you make desperate decisions. You cut corners, you look for shortcuts, you give up the moment things get difficult, and everything changed for me when I stopped obsessing over quick money and started focusing on building something real. When I let go of these I have to make money in 30 days expectations and just trusted the process, that's when my channels actually exploded. But now let's talk about what this term trusting the process actually means. It means committing to uploading 30 videos over 10 minutes where you actually put in the work and improve after each and every upload. It means focusing on one niche for at least 3 to 4 months without jumping to completely something new. For example, with my first channel, I didn't make any real money until month 4, but in month 5, I hit $10,000. So the breakthrough didn't happen because I got lucky, it happened because I stuck with the process long enough just to understand what actually works in that specific niche. Then the fifth mistake is what I call the one-trick pony. Let's say you finally get a video that does well. Maybe it gets 10,000 views, 100,000 views. Maybe it makes you some money and you think, this is it, I've cracked the code, we just gotta do more. So what do? You keep making the same exact type of videos over and over again, and you expect the same results. Or worse, you find a niche that worked once and refuse to pivot when the data clearly shows you it's not working anymore. Successful creators are constantly evolving. Yes, they double down on what works, but they're also always testing new ideas, new formats, and new approaches. So don't get married to the strategy, get married to the results. But even then, the sixth mistake hits people right in the wallet. Most people think they can create videos for completely free using AI tools. And while that's partially true, what nobody tells you is the real cost of doing this. So, for example, if you want to outsource everything, scriptwriter, voiceover artist, video editor, thumbnail designer, here's where you actually really need to pay in today's day and age. A good scriptwriter costs $20 to $40 per video, a quality voiceover artist is another $10 to $20, video editing can run you $20 to $50 per video, and thumbnails are $5 to $20 each. And I know that might sound like a lot of money to some of you, but here's the good news. You can use AI to write your scripts for free, you can use AI voiceover tools for just a few dollars a month, and you can also create thumbnails with AI in just a couple of minutes. The only thing you might need to pay for is video editing, or you can learn that yourself. So you have two options here. Option 1, if you're in a tight budget, use your time instead of money. Learn to edit yourself, use AI for everything else, and you can literally start a channel for almost nothing. And option 2, if you want to protect your time as much as possible, then yes, you will need to invest a little bit into a team. But even then, you're not stuck paying full price for everything anymore. The point here is you need to know your numbers, but you don't need to let money be your excuse. And finally, the mistake that kills channels more than anything else. Look, I wish I could tell you that you'll be making $10,000 a month in 60 days or 90 days. And some of the people that I know have done it, but they're the exception, not the rule. For most people, it takes 3 to 6 months to build a real profitable channel that will last. But here's a reality check. Look at your competitors, study them. How long did it take them to succeed? How many videos did they post before they made it? If you think you can outwork them and create better content or post more or post faster, great. It might happen faster for you. But even then, I suggest you use their timeline as your baseline, because the people who succeed are the ones who stick with it long enough to see the results. Everyone else gives up right before they break through, so don't be everyone else. Now, I know what you're thinking, Raz, you just crushed all my dreams and told me this is going to take forever. Where's the hope? Well, here's the thing. I went through years of trial and error, so you don't have to. While it personally took me months to figure out what works, you can skip all of those mistakes by focusing on what's actually working right now.
I'm gonna walk you through 10 things you should know before starting your own faceless YouTube automation channel, and those are all things I wish I knew 3 years ago when I started my very first channel called Capitalist. Now, the first thing is that you can actually do this with $0 or a very low startup capital. Compared to being a YouTuber where you need an expensive mic, some lights, cameras, and all that stuff, you don't need to spend any money on any of those things if you want to start a faceless channel. Not only that, but even when it comes to running the actual channel, there are multiple ways you can go about it, and there are multiple ways that allow you to start with $0. If you don't know it, there's something that I call the 3 ways of starting and running a faceless YouTube channel, and they are as it follows. Number 1, we have what I simply call the free method, which is you doing all the work yourself. You have to do the script, you have to do the voiceover, the edit, and the thumbnail, but you are an anonymous person behind a computer just creating faceless content and making money for it. This basically allows you to start a business model and reap the rewards for pretty much $0. Now, the second method of running a faceless YouTube channel is the paid method, and this method is mostly suited for people who don't have a lot of time or don't want to spend a lot of time doing all the work themselves, but they have a little bit of money and a little bit of capital that they decide to put at work. What I mean by this is that instead of doing all the content creation parts yourself, again, the script, the voiceover, the edit, and the thumbnail, you outsource it, you delegate that work to freelancers on platforms like Fiverr or Upwork.com, and on average, you can do that with $50, maybe $60 per video, which is pretty good for all that work. Now, the third method, which is my favorite one, especially if you're just starting and maybe you have a little bit of money saved up, a couple $100, is the hybrid method. The hybrid method, as you can probably imagine, is just a combination between the two, where instead of doing all the content yourself or doing none of the content yourself, you can choose which of the parts you want to do, and you can choose which of the parts you want to outsource. For example, let's say you're passionate about design and video editing, you can choose to do the thumbnails and the videos yourself, but maybe you're not a Native American or you just don't want to record a voiceover yourself and you don't like to write. So in this case, you would use the hybrid method to pay and outsource the script writing and the voiceover, but you'd be the one editing and doing the thumbnails yourself. And this is again the third method in which you can run a faceless YouTube channel. So starting this business model with limited resources or even $0 is definitely possible if you're willing to put in the work, of course. Now, the second thing that I want to tell you guys about, and it's something that I wish I knew earlier on, and it's something that I only kind of formulated recently for this business model, is the difference between a faceless YouTube channel and a YouTube automation channel. And it's not as hard as you think. So I'm sure that you've heard about this business model before, whether under the term of YouTube automation, YouTube cash cow channel, faceless channel, automated channel, whatever it is, guys. Let me put it the simplest way possible, which is, in my opinion, the only correct way you can really talk about this. On one side, we have a faceless YouTube channel, which pretty much implies that it's a normal YouTube channel, it's just no face attached. Now, having a faceless channel or a channel being faceless doesn't have anything to do with what happens on the back end of the production, meaning it doesn't matter if you're doing the content yourself, it doesn't matter if it's outsourced, it doesn't matter if you're doing compilations which are not recommended, it doesn't matter if you are stealing other people's content. If you don't have a face on the videos, then that's a faceless channel right there. Of course, you have good faceless channels and you have bad faceless channels, but still, a faceless channel is just a normal YouTube channel where you don't have the creator of the content in front of the camera, there's no person that's showing their face. That's it. You don't need to go any further. You don't need to go more in depth. That's what a faceless channel is. Now, on the other side, a YouTube automation channel to begin with is definitely a faceless channel in which you outsource the entire content creation process, meaning it's the paid method. It's a faceless channel that you choose to run it with the second method that we previously covered, the paid method. You don't have anybody showing their face and you have the entire content creation process outsourced. You have a scriptwriter in place, you have a voiceover actor in place, you have a video editor in place, and you have a thumbnail designer in place. If you do that, that gives you a YouTube automation channel that still is a faceless channel. So you can have kind of both in the same time. The only difference that there is that with YouTube automation, you outsource all the work, and with a faceless channel, you have 3 ways of running the content and producing the content, if you will. So the choice is yours, but that's the difference between those two, and you'll see me using both terms in the titles. They're pretty much the same thing. The only difference that I see is how you decide to run the content on the backend. The third thing you should know, and I get pretty passionate about this one, is that an actual real faceless YouTube channel that can make you money, that you can start as a beginner from scratch and monetize through AdSense revenue, is not what you see on TikTok. It's not a fireplace channel, it's not a rain sound, it's not a meditation, it's not a motivation, it's not a compilation. Those are indeed faceless channels. However, they do not work in the sense of they will most likely 97% chance, maybe 95% chance, let me be conservative, will not make you money through AdSense revenue, and they're just a way of procrastination trying to make something, but it's not working on the right thing. So don't focus on those. Instead, the faceless channels that you should be looking at and you should be running are faceless channels that create good quality content that people actually want to watch, meaning they don't just rip off somebody else's work and somebody else's footage, but instead they add value by creating the content themselves. And there are already hundreds and hundreds of good channels that you can look and take inspiration from if you want to start yours. For example, you have channels like Nonstop, Rebound, Athletic Interest, Broader Invest, The Egg Grid, King Luxury, luxury, this happens. Spill tea. There are plenty and plenty of channels out there that are doing an amazing job and making a lot of money for their owners. The next thing that I think you should know, and this is going to be a more laid back, relaxed explanation, is that you should not fear saturation. You should not fear competition, because in my opinion, the way I look at it, saturation on YouTube doesn't really exist. And let me explain why. So apart from the statistical point of view, in which you have less than 1% of people who are actually watching YouTube content, creating content, meaning looking at the supply and demand chain, the demand is so much higher, so much higher. And again, this is statistical, numerical. It's not like I'm looking at it, oh, I think more people want to watch. This is actually backed by data. That more people are there watching content than there are creating content, let alone faceless content. I don't really believe in saturation as a whole, because I mostly see saturation as an excuse. People who don't want to take action, who are maybe afraid, who don't want to risk it, who don't want to put in the time, the resources, the money, the whatever it is, they just use saturation as an excuse. But again, if you go deeper, if you do an in-depth research, if you do an in-depth market research, an in-depth analysis on any of the most popular faceless niches out there, whether it be celebrities, whether it be movies and TVs, whether it be sports, whether it be football, basketball, whatever you want, I can guarantee that if you put in a little bit of work and if you put in a little bit of thinking, you can find angles, you can find ideas, you can find things that can be done that not only, number one, haven't been done before, which is huge. It's very hard to be able to say in an industry that something hasn't been done before, but with faceless YouTube channels, with faceless content, I think we still have that opportunity. It's still very early on, and a lot of things that YouTubers have done, so YouTube creators have done, that haven't been done in the faceless, I think that can still be found in any of the niches. I also think that point number 2 here is, even if it's been done before, there is so much room for improvement. You can go in any niche, take what's already working and make it better. Take what's already working and add a twist, add a spin. Now, that's pretty much how I believe anybody can defeat saturation. Now, am I saying that there's a huge gap and a huge untapped opportunity in the market? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying right here, and I'm not joking, but it's not the way you think. It's not in the sense of like, oh, nobody has ever done a car channel before. Oh, nobody has ever done a business, a luxury, a this or that channel before. Yes, they have. The opportunity is starting. People are already starting to take action and create channels, but because it's so early and because there are so few channels, there are so many things that are untapped, so many ideas, so many angles, so many points of view, so many ways of creating content, so many ways of taking inspiration, so many ways of replicating what's already working. So guys, I genuinely believe that right now it's the best time to start a faceless YouTube channel. So to quote Warren Buffett once again, the best time to plant a seed was 10 years ago, and the second best time is today. Couldn't be more true for faceless YouTube channels. Now it's by far the best time. In the next couple of months, as we're going to be publishing more and more videos, more and more content, I plan on putting this business on the map. So guys, best time is now. Don't fear saturation, don't fear competition. There's still plenty of room. And actually, the next thing that I want to talk about, the next thing that I think you should know, is that when looking at saturation and when looking at competition, in my opinion, competitors can actually help you if you do it smart. So here's how. So what I see happening pretty often with competitors, they usually play 2 roles in the market. Number 1, some people fear them and some people say, oh, this guy already has an established channel, there's no way I can go in there, and there's no way I can create a channel, there's no way I can make money, which is false. That's not true. You can actually do it. And also, the second thing that I see people using competitors, it's also wrong, is just copying them. You see a video about, I don't know, top 10 most expensive hotels in the United States, and then somebody goes in there and does something like top 15 most expensive hotels in the United States and expect that video to work. Now, that can work, don't get me wrong, but the chances of it working are very low. You're pretty much just copying. The person already did the research, the person already came up with the idea, came up with the angle. You're just adding 5 more hotels to it. It's not adding sufficient value for the people to want to watch the content. But instead, the way I like to look at competitors and the way I like to think about this is I want to see what's working for them and I want to identify patterns, right? So what are the commonalities? What are the common things between the videos that they have that are working, and try to extract, try to get the idea, try to understand why is it, what's the angle, what makes people curious, what makes people want to watch, what makes people want to click that this video has, so I can replicate that for my own video. And again, when I say replicate, I don't mean copy. They're doing 7, I'm doing 10. They're doing 20, I'm doing 40. Now, that can work sometimes. You might also see me doing it on this channel, but if I believe I can add more value, I can tell a different story. But with Faceless YouTube channels, you most likely want to model an idea, not copy it, and come up with a different angle, come up with a different twist. I'm going to show you right now on the screen 2 examples of Faceless YouTube channels that have done a very good job modeling a previously existing idea instead of copying. You can see this video right here that it started from an originally good idea, originally successful video that worked, and then they added a twist, they added a spin to it, they made a similar video with a similar thumbnail that still performed because they changed something a little bit, and it's the same case with this second video. Now you can pause and you can look at it a little bit more if you want to understand what they've done, but I might be covering that more in depth in another video, so let's go to the next point. Now that you know what's my take and how I approach competition, I also want you guys to know and to realize that every niche, no matter if you choose sports, basketball, football, history, business, tech, finance, anything you want, anything has pros and it has cons. So every niche out there, there are some good things about it and there are some bad things about it. And what's even more interesting is that what can be a good thing for me might be a bad thing for you, and what's a good thing for you might be a bad thing for me. So this is very, very subjective, and it's very dependent on the person who decides to start a channel. So let me explain this a little bit more. When looking to start a new channel and you're looking for a niche, there are multiple factors that you want to consider. How much money can a channel in that niche make? For how long can you run a channel like that? How expensive is it to create a content, or how hard is it to create a content? How many competitors are out there? How much money the competitors are making? How much time it takes you to get monetized? How much time it takes you to start making $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 per month, right? And all those things require you to do research, put in the work, and actually look at the data that's already present out there. There's no shortcut around it. There's no magic tool, magic person who can tell you, oh, start this niche, or oh, start a niche. To put it simply and to keep it short, what I like to do when starting a new channel and choosing a new niche, which you're gonna see me doing here very shortly on this channel, documenting the journey, is gonna be this. I make a list of the niches that I like, right? I genuinely like a car channel, finance, investing, business, sports, whatever it is, right? I make a list of them, and then the way I choose between them is not which one I like the most, but I like to choose the cons. So I like to choose the negative things that I can live with. Meaning, for example, for me, waiting 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, maybe even 12 months for a channel to start making money is something that I can live with. Some channels take a longer period of time to start getting traction and to start making money, which for most people, myself included, a couple months ago, or maybe when I started, for sure, that was a con. I didn't want to wait 6 months. I didn't want to wait 9 months. I didn't want to wait 12 months. I wanted to make money fast. Now, right now, I can wait. And by being able to choose that, hey, I'm okay with this channel not making money, any money for 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months, I already separate myself because not a lot of people are willing to wait. So this is one example of choosing the downside, choosing the negative of your channel. Another example is, let's say, some channels require you to stay very up to date with the news. If you do a celebrity channel or a news channel or a football or a sports news channel, you have to be connected. You have to be in the day-to-day. You have to know what's happening. Maybe a crypto channel, right? You have to know what's happening every single day, every single time a news comes out. You want to be the first one. That's negative in my opinion. That's a small downside that you have right there, because you always have to be connected. That, for example, I'm not willing to do. I'm not willing to spend so much time researching and staying connected. But for you out there, if you're a beginner, if you have more time in your hands, then this will be an advantage for you, because a lot of people like me who have been running 1 or 2 or maybe 3 channels, maybe more, don't want to wait all the time, don't want to spend all this time researching and staying up to the game. But if you're a beginner and you have more time, that's something that you can use as an advantage. And another one that you can have that's pretty easy to understand, and I want to put it out there, is money. Right? If you look at the channel, let's say a history channel is going to be more expensive than $40 or $50 to produce per video. It's maybe going to be 80, 100, 120, and not a lot of people afford, or not necessarily afford, but not a lot of people want to pay that much for a video, which again, it's a negative. The cost is higher. How many people are going to choose it? For example, I can be okay with a higher cost per video if I have a bigger budget or more money that I want to invest. So this is how I want you guys to look at niches. Look at the downside. What are the negative things that most people perceive, and what are the ones that you can live with? What are the ones that you can do that not a lot of people do? So instead of choosing, oh, I like this niche because it has all these pros, make sure to look at the cons as well. Make sure to choose a niche where you can live and you can deal with the cons, because that's going to help you tremendously in the long term. The next thing I wish I knew from the beginning is to keep my software stack low. Now, this might sound a little bit fancy, but don't worry, I'll explain in a second why. So when I first started, there were so many tools that were doing very small and different activities. For example, I was using Social Blade to look at exactly how much views the channel is getting. I was using TubeBuddy to see a channel tags and how many subscribers is getting over a period of time. I was using vidIQ to do keyword research. Then another software appeared that allow you to do the outlier score and see what videos are performing better than others. Then this software allowed you to split test thumbnails. Then this software allows you to see the thumbnail changes on a video. There were so many different softwares and I was a guinea pig. I was like, oh, let me take this one and let me take this one and let me try this one and let me do this one. But now, guys, in today's day and age, I think there has been one software out there that I've been looking into recently, and I'm not affiliated with them, I'm not sponsored by them, I'm not doing any sponsorships on this channel, and that is vidIQ, that is doing the majority of the work. So if I were to start today, if I were to start over, I would only have vidIQ, maybe TubeBuddy, so you can do A/B testing if you're a little bit more advanced. But vidIQ today gives you all the research tools, give you all the data that you need, all the information that you need in YouTube and in the studio that I have, basically in the keyword research process. They give you all the information that when I first started, you needed to have like 5, 6, maybe even 7 softwares to see. vidIQ does it all today. So don't get fancy, don't pay for all these softwares, all these subscriptions. Just give vidIQ maybe the free plan or the $5 per month plan on TubeBuddy and you're good to go. Don't overcomplicate us. Which leads me to my next thing, which is something that if you guys get something out of my videos would be this: to not get fancy and to keep the main thing the main thing. And in my opinion, when it comes to Faceless YouTube channels, keeping the main thing means just creating high quality content that people want to watch. That's it. And what I mean by this is just keeping your focus and having a tunnel vision focus on the only important thing that matters. Getting distracted in this game, it's very easy, especially if you haven't been running a YouTube channel before. If you just go inside YouTube Studio and you look at all the metrics that there are, if you want to go see more there and you see like you can filter views per hour, per location, per this, per that, there are so many stats they can start looking at, which again, don't get me wrong, data is very important and you want to use data. But what I'm going with this is you just want to select your few metrics, right? You want to look at CTR, you want to look at average duration, you want to look at impressions, views, and all that stuff. You want to have a few that you have on lock, and you should ruthlessly take action on improving those. Don't try to improve everything. Don't try to nail the perfect tags, the perfect description, the perfect pinned comment, the perfect next big idea that you think is gonna explode. Don't get distracted. Don't major in minors. And this is something that I've been doing for the longest time ever, and I'm still guilty of it. I go very in depth and I go very analytical on things that after I zoom out, after I finish them, I'm like, why was I doing that thing to begin with? Oh, to just think this small tiny thing right here, but does it really matter? No. Okay, so I just lost 2 hours, right? I'm not sure if that makes sense, guys, but again, focusing most of your time on creating good scripts, creating good voiceovers, edits, and thumbnails is gonna do 99 or maybe 97% of the work, right? Everything else, how you put your title after you came up with the idea, right? How you put your title, how you put your description, how you put your tags, when do you schedule the video, do you want to comment on competitors, do you not want to comment? Like, all those things are, in my opinion, less than 3% of what actually matters. Let's just say less than 5% tops of what actually matters. Yet I see a bunch of people, and myself included, spending 80% of their time on those things and only 20% of the time on creating the content, which is what should matter to begin with. And this is especially easy if you choose to do YouTube automation. If you choose to do the paid method where you outsource the content creation, you are basically left with not much to do. You can only spend 30 minutes a day, maybe tops, communicating with your team and giving them instructions and directions. It's like, well, I want to work, so let me do these other things. But those other things are not what moves the needle forward, are not what's going to make you money. But instead, even if you choose to delegate the work, spend more time with your team, review your videos more often, spend more time planning and scheduling your videos ahead in terms of ideas, what titles, what are other people doing. Don't waste your time majoring in minors. Another thing that wasted my time in the beginning, but I think it was needed for me to do it, but hopefully you don't have to do it so I can save you some time here, is when it comes to hiring. If you want to go with the hybrid or the paid method, you're going to need to hire some people. Obviously, you can hire people that you already know, your friends, your siblings, your relatives. That can work, no problem with it. But if you want to hire somebody who's experienced, if you want to hire somebody who's been there and done that, maybe has experience exactly in the same thing that you want to do, I only recommend you go to places like Fiverr and Upwork.com. I tried everything else. I tried People Per Hour, I tried onlinejobs.ph, I tried Twitter, I tried YT Jobs, I tried all these other things. And although they're great and you can find people on there, I don't know why. It's maybe I've gotten super used to Fiverr and super used to Upwork, but I haven't found anywhere else better talent, cheaper talent, and people who are easy to work with, because I think the intent on those platforms is so high. People are actually there to make money. People are actually there to work, because Fiverr and Upwork have only been the most, or like the two biggest mentioned platforms when it comes to YouTube automation and delegating. Freelancers are going mostly there. They are on other platforms as well, but most freelancers, most talent, as I'm recording this video, January 2021, are on Fiverr and Upwork. So going outside of these platforms, I just see us getting fancy and as a small waste of time. Now, obviously, if you want to experiment, if you think you're going to find a wizard outside of you or a genius that nobody knows, you actually might, but the chance is very, very low. And in my opinion, I would not waste my time going it. I'll just keep it simple. There's plenty of freelancers that are looking for work. There's plenty of talented people joining those platforms every single day, waiting for a project like yours to appear and for an amazing collaboration to start. Also, one more thing I would like you guys to know is that recently I'm seeing long form content, so longer form videos, performing much better than the average. So as you probably know, most people on YouTube are making 8-minute videos because that's when you can place mid-roll ads and make a little bit more money. Some people are doing 10-minute videos because it just looks a little bit better and they can provide more value. But what I'm seeing recently, and I believe it's because of the podcast, and I believe more and more people are watching podcasts and are used to consuming longer form content, are moving away a little bit from the short form addiction and all that stuff, is longer videos, 12-minute videos, 15-minute videos, maybe even 18 to 20-minute videos performing better.
And as I spend more time looking into it, I started to notice some more interesting patterns that all the successful channels were following.
I analyzed over 70 faceless YouTube channels across different niches to study the algorithm and figure out why some faceless channels like this one, and this one become massively successful, and while other channels like these fail to even get off the ground. And I found that most successful faceless creators apply very specific rules to their channels. Rules that I have also applied to this channel right here to create faceless videos like these, which made me over $100,000 in 1 year. So what are those rules that get results again and again? What do these successful channels know that 99% of people don't? The best faceless YouTube channels follow 5 simple rules, and in this video, I'm going to reveal all of them. Let's take a look at this channel right here, Ditastic. They make car videos just like thousands of other car channels, but check their most popular videos. 101 facts about Porsche, 101 facts about Mercedes, 25 minutes long, 36 minutes long. While everyone else in the car niche was making 10-minute videos, they made them 20 to 30 minutes long. Now you might be thinking, why would anyone watch such long faceless videos about cars? Well, here's what's crazy. These long videos are getting millions of views, while shorter car videos from even bigger channels are struggling to hit that. So what's happening here? This is what I call the unfair advantage. While everyone else covered top 10 cars, they covered 101 facts about cars. Nobody else was willing to put in the work and do the research for 101 facts, so they own that space completely. And here's another example of the unfair advantage. This Woke Moments compilation channel discovered a new trending format months before anyone else. They were the first to market and they made a fortune. In fact, they're still making $6,000 per month right now as we speak. So the pattern is simple. Find what your competition doesn't do, then do it better or faster than everyone else, and that's your unfair advantage. The second rule is what I call the happy channel. Now, most people think all the good niches are taken. They look at successful channels and think, well, there's already competition here, so I cannot succeed. But here's what Peter Thiel, early investor in PayPal, Palantir, multi-billionaire, talks about in his book 0 to 1. All happy companies have no competition. But how is that possible? Every niche has competition, right? Well, here's the secret that most people miss. You don't compete in existing categories, you want to create your own category. Let me show you exactly how this looks like. A few months ago, the history niche just exploded. Everybody and their grandma wanted to have a channel, and this channel right here was leading the pack. And then this channel tried to make the same videos and failed. And this one, which also failed. They tried to make the same medieval history videos as the successful channel. Same topics, same style, same thumbnail approach, but because they were competing in an existing category, they got crushed. The original channel had the first mover advantage and an established audience. The copycat channel struggled to get 2,000 views per video. But then there's also this channel right here, who instead of making the same exact videos as Medieval Times discovered, added their own spin to it, making the same videos but about pirates. And the results, they created their own space and dominated it. How pirates got clean drinking water on a ship. No competition. How pirates preserve food on board pirate ships, they own that space. They're currently making $5,000 per month while the other channels are dead. They didn't need to worry about the competition. They created their own category or their own happy channel, as Peter Thiel would call it. And that's the difference between competing and creating. When you compete, you're fighting for scraps. When you create your own category, you can own the entire market and make a lot of money. And now, let me show you something that might shock you. Here are the analytics from my car channel when I first started. Muscle car video, 2,000 views. Luxury car video, 1,500 views. Pickup truck video, 50,000 views. Same channel, same quality, completely different results. Most people look at this data and think, well, I guess the first videos just didn't work. And they'd keep making the same videos again and again and hoping for different results. Or worse, they would quit entirely. But that's the exact opposite of what successful channels do, and this is what I call the pivot master rule. Instead of being stubborn, I ask myself different questions. This feels rather hard. What else can I test? Where can I pivot? The data was telling me that pickup trucks work, so I pivot completely to pickup trucks, and the channel went from $0 to $17,000 per month in 8 months. The channels who are willing to pivot based on data are the ones who break through. The ones who get stuck on their first idea and refuse to change, they're usually the ones that quit after 30 videos. Now, you might be thinking, but what if I pivot and it doesn't work? Well, here's the thing. Pivoting isn't about changing everything randomly. It's about following the data and testing systematically. When my muscle car video got 2,000 views, I didn't immediately jump to pickup trucks. I tested luxury car first, and I would have continued to test until something would have worked. Each test gave me data about what actually worked on my own channel. The pickup truck success definitely involved a little bit of luck, of course, but it mainly happened because I was willing to test until something worked. And here's the key. Each pivot told me something about what worked on my channel. Muscle cars, the audience wasn't interested in performance specs. Luxury cars, people didn't care about expensive vehicles they couldn't afford. Classic cars, getting warmer but still not quite. And pickup trucks, bingo. My audience wanted practical working vehicles with history and character, and that's the pivot master. Now, the fourth rule is what I call the execution speed rule. And this comes from a book that completely changed how I do business. It's called Ready, Fire, Aim by Michael Masterson. Most people do ready, aim, fire, right? They get ready, they spend forever aiming and perfecting, and then maybe they fire. But by the time they're ready, the opportunity has already passed. And here's what I see happen to most people. They learn about unfair advantages, creating categories, and pivoting, but then they go and spend months planning and never actually starting, right? They research niches for weeks, they plan their first 50 video ideas, they design the perfect thumbnail template, and meanwhile, someone else who moved faster has already captured that market. Let me show you the difference speed makes with a simple example. Imagine two people decide to start a faceless channel on the same exact day. Person A spends 3 weeks learning the basics, then posts their first video. Person B spends 2 months planning the perfect channel before posting absolutely anything. And here's what usually happens after 3 to 4 months. Person A has 30 videos uploaded, learned from real data, and is already making some money from their channel, while person B finally launched their perfect channel but quit after 10 videos because they are now competing against established channels that already have momentum, and it looks like their perfect plan wasn't actually that perfect. The faster you move, the faster you get data, and the faster you can pivot to find out what works. So ready, fire, aim. And now the final rule is what I call the AI advantage. Now, most people are either completely ignoring AI or using it wrong. They either think AI can replace everything or they think it's just a gimmick. But the channels that are winning right now understand something different. AI isn't about replacing human creativity, it's about amplifying it and moving faster than your competition. Here's the thing. While you're manually researching topics for hours, while you're spending days writing scripts from scratch, or while you're trying to do everything the old-fashioned way, your competition is using AI to move 10 times faster than you. They're using AI to do more research in less time. They're using AI to lower their costs so they can post more videos. They're using AI to be faster on trends. But here's where most people get it completely wrong. They think AI is just a magic button that you press and then it does the work for them. I see people trying to generate entire videos with problems like maybe a viral YouTube video about cars that will get 1 million views, and then they wonder why their channel fails. Or they'll take AI-generated images, slap them together with AI voiceover, upload them to YouTube, and hope that they're gonna make money. That's not how it works. AI without human strategy, creativity, and direction is just wasteful noise in today's day and age. The channels that fail with AI are the ones that are treating it like a get-rich-quick scheme. They want to press a few buttons, do zero work, and somehow make thousands of dollars. Instead, let me show you exactly what the right way of using AI looks like. We use AI for research, so instead of spending 3 hours on researching a topic, we only spend 30 minutes. We use all the different tools out there, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity for this one. But we're not asking AI to do research for us, we're asking it to help us research faster. We give it specific questions, we verify the information, and we sometimes add our own insights. AI for script outlines. Instead of starting at a blank page, which we all know it's kind of hard, we have a structure in 5 minutes. Claude is very good at writing, but there's also specific tools like Poppy AI and Subscribers. Again, we are not copy-pasting AI scripts. We're using AI to create a skeleton, then we add the meat, the personality, and unique angles. AI voiceovers. Instead of manually recording or paying for voice artists, we leverage AI softwares like 11 Labs to get a voiceover done. But we're training AI with our own voice sometimes, our own style, and different personalities. The difference is this: unsuccessful channels use AI to completely replace human work. Successful channels use AI to amplify it. They use AI to research faster, not to avoid research. They use AI to write outlines faster, not to avoid writing. And they use AI to produce content, not to avoid creating. The Faceless channels that are winning understand how to use AI as a tool, not as a crutch. They're using it to move faster, research deeper, and execute more efficiently. They're using it to win.
Now look, all these lessons become even more valuable when you apply them to the right opportunity. So I analyzed thousands of Faceless YouTube channels and handpicked the top 100 Faceless YouTube niches. So you don't have to waste time or money working on the wrong opportunity.
So this is a Simpsons prediction channel. As you can see, they make a bunch of videos, they post a bunch of content, and as you can see, they've got almost 5 million views in the last 28 days, and they've made over $5,800. Now, these videos are very simple to make, and I know because I've made one as well. My most popular video actually on this old channel of mine is 10 Simpsons predictions that could become true before 2024, and it got almost 2.5 million views, which is insane. Those are not only fun, but you can also make a bunch of money. But maybe you're not a Simpsons fan, so here's another channel that I think could make you a bunch of money, and it's called No Villains Are Safe. This is still in the cartoon niche, but I think they cover multiple cartoons. Some of them are Simpsons, but some of them are SpongeBob, or some of them are just general cartoons. And they've also got over 5 million views in the last 28 days and made around $5,000 as well. Moving on to the next one, Explains One-on-One. This is a little bit more of a serious channel with a serious topic, and I personally love watching this type of videos. What happens when a country goes bankrupt, 7 levels of wealth they never taught you. These are somewhat financial topics, but explained in a very good delivery with sticky man animations. They got 1 million views in the last 20 days, and they made around $4,000. Or maybe you watch a bunch of streams and you like streamers, in which case this next channel called Complex is gonna be the perfect one for you. You can see they make a bunch of videos, they post 4 to 5 times a week, but the videos are rather simple. Despite being 20 minutes long, trust me, those are relatively easy to edit, and if you can make great quality content in this niche and you get 4 million subscribers like this channel got in the last 20 days, you can make up to $14,000. A similar one, and maybe equally funny we could say, would be the stand-up niche. And we have this channel right here called Page Stand Up, with 67,000 subscribers in only 53 videos, and they also started very recently, right? We can see less than a year ago, and they're already getting a bunch of views. This is the first time I saw the stand-up niche, so I think there is going to be a lot of potential, there's going to be a lot of white space, and you're not going to face a lot of competition. Page got 4.6 million views in the last 28 days, and they made over $8,000, which is not too shabby for making clips about stand-up comedy. But let's switch gears here a little bit, and let me show you one channel that I personally watched a ton when I was a teenager. Not particularly this one, but 1 Point Fresh makes videos about self-development, glow-ups, and looks maxing. If you're a teenager or you're in your early 20s, you probably know what I'm talking about. And these videos get hundreds of thousands of views, anything from aesthetic clothes to hairstyles to how to look max, how to reinvent yourself, winter arc, all that good stuff. 1 Point Fresh is a great channel with great quality in my opinion, but unfortunately they stopped posting, but this might be your opportunity. Now regardless, they're still getting almost 1 million views every single month, and they're making less than $1,000, and I assume that is because most of their views are now coming from shorts. But if you make long form content and you're able to replicate their quality, you can easily make $3,000 to $5,000 per month, not to mention all the affiliate deals and all the sponsorships you could attract with a channel like this one. And maybe you don't care at all about those things, but you might be passionate about AI, in which case the AI niche, particularly this channel right here called AI Revolution, is printing money right now. They're getting 1.6 million views in the last 28 days, making over $3,000 from AdSense revenue alone, And if you ask me, despite them looking good, those videos are actually very easy to make. They're short, the thumbnails look alike each other, so you can easily create those videos with AI. And I actually have a similar channel also in the AI niche, but more on the tutorial side. It's called How to Digital. I have over 352,000 subscribers on this one, and I know that not a lot of people are revealing their channels, but I'm here to share all this information so you guys can make money with it as well. So there you go. This channel posts a lot of content, as you can see, and if I take you behind the scenes, you are gonna see that this channel has only made 1,600 in the last 28 days, and if we go to 90 days, it's generated over $6,000. Now, this channel is slowly but steadily growing, but what's important here is that we also make a bunch of money from brand deals. So keep in mind that when you're doing research for your niche, you don't only think about the AdSense revenue, the money that we can easily say, let's track, but also some of these channels, especially in the financial topics or higher end audiences, are going to be able to make you a bunch of money, maybe from affiliate marketing or brand deals as well. Now, going to something more fun that I bet you have not seen before, let's look at this channel called Pirate Times TV in the pirate niche, I guess, right? They're making very interesting videos about pirates and everything that pirates used to do, how they spend the fortune that they stole, how they turned salt water into fresh water, or how they made and stored gunpowder at sea. The quality on this channel is very, very good. And the numbers reflected, in my opinion. I mean, they're getting 1.7 million views and making over $7,000 with only 72 videos, so very good job. A similar niche, but going a little bit more broad, would be Iconic Star Rewind, where they basically make content about vintage movies and vintage Hollywood actors, right? Again, I hope I'm surprising you and I hope I'm expanding your horizons with what is possible with Faceless YouTube channels. But this channel right here is making a bunch of money with rather simple videos. As you can see, their thumbnails are very catchy. It's almost just a frame from the movie or a frame from the scene with one yellow arrow. You can easily make this yourself in Canva or maybe using Midjourney for it. And some of their videos are getting hundreds of thousands of views. Altogether, the channel has gotten over 3.7 million views in the last 28 days, making $5,000, which honestly, I would say it's way underrated. I think for 3 million views in this niche, they're easily making $10,000 because the RPM is going to be higher than 386, right? Usually people who watch vintage channels are a little bit older, have a higher buying power. Therefore, YouTube is able to pay more money for ads on those videos. And if you're wondering, how do I know that? Well, let me show you. This channel right here, Vintage Vehicles, is a channel that I started and scaled from $0 to $17,000 per month. I'm going to show you in a second, and then eventually sold. But I was making content about vintage vehicles, right? Anything from rarest car collections to innovations that did not stand the test of time. But let me take you inside a YouTube studio so you can see the actual transparent numbers. As you can see, when I started this in February 2024, we just got monetized. March, we made $300, $1,200, $2,600, $5,000 in 3-4 months. And then we scaled to 8,000, 9,000, 15,000, and it peaked at 17,000, after which I sold the channel. So vintage vehicles, great opportunity. Now guys, next, I want to show you a bonus niche. I'm going to insert a couple of those throughout the video, so look out for them, and they're going to be quite special. So first of all, since we chatted about my channel Vintage Vehicles, there's this other channel right here called Wheels History. And now, this is not necessarily different, but they just copied vintage vehicles and they added a spin on it, and it's working quite well. As you can see, they're getting over 700,000 views per month right now with an $8 RPM, which I'm sure, especially now with Q4, it's gonna be even higher, and they're making at least $7,000 per month, which is not shabby at all considering they only started the channel 6 months ago, as you can see. And again, all they did was take vintage vehicles, add their own spin on it, and it's working quite well. Now, I like what they did with the thumbnails right here. They kind of created something new. They took something from another niche and brought it to their own, but this is pretty much textbook execution on how to take inspiration from another channel, make it as good, add your spin on it, and still make money. And another way you can talk about cars would be more so the car tips, right? Or for car fanatics, where you cover videos like, if you have these trucks, dispose them immediately, or these 10 cars will be worthless in 2026, which is exactly what this channel right here called SUV Zone is doing. Now, I know they're making a bunch of money at a given time, but let's see what they're making now. Okay, so they're not getting as many views as they used to, but they're still shy of 1 million views, and they're reportedly making $1.3 thousand. Again, I think this is on the low end. I think they're making at least $3,000 to $4,000 for almost 1 million views in this niche. And just to stay in the car realm for a little bit, let's look at Millionaire Garage, which is another sub-niche of cars, more specifically car collections, right? I'm sure you've probably seen at least some of those videos, whether it be Jay Leno, Ralph Lauren, or maybe Koshby, maybe Max Verstappen. This channel right here is sprinting money with very easy and fun to create content. They got 1.6 million views in the last 20 days, and they're estimated making $2,700. Once again, I think this is much on the higher end, knowing what the RPMs can be in the car niche. And if you don't like cars, that's fine. Let's talk about motorcycles next. Fastest Way has 250 videos about motorcycles, and they're getting quite decent views. They're covering anything from Harley Davidsons to political news and how that might affect it, and they're also giving you tips to make sure your engine will run like new, again with this video right here. Videos are rather short, very easy to make, not the best quality, which gives you a very good opportunity to go in this niche and up it a little bit, but let's see how much money they're making. Not as much as I remember, just shy of 500,000 views and making $750. Again, this is your opportunity to go into this niche and make something for motorcycle fans that would pay you much better. And there's actually one more channel that I want to show you. This one right here, the Motorcycle Brain, that is a little bit smaller and is a little bit more niche, focused on motorcycle tips, right? If you have a motorcycle, you probably want to subscribe to this channel and you want to see what they're covering here, because I see they give you a lot of tips on how to take care of your motorcycle and so forth. Obviously, I'm more interested about the money and I want to share that with you guys, so let's take a look together. Only 300,000 views. This is probably gonna make, okay, $1,000. This is better than I expected, but I would say this is pretty fair. If you can get 300,000 views, make $1,000, relatively easy content. Bonus niche, guys. Speaking of tips, there's this channel right here called Everything Toyota, which has an interesting branding with Baby Yoda. But this is very similar, and what these guys are doing have taken the tips niche, right, whether it be car tips or motorcycle niche, and have just niched it down to Toyota, right? There's probably a bunch of people around the world who own Toyotas, and they're only making videos for those guys, or for people who want to buy one. They only started 3 months ago, and as you can see, they started pretty strong. Their first video has over 500,000 views, and it's also their most popular, and since then, they've probably gotten what? Over 1.5 million views. Given a $5 RPM, let's say, they've made over $7,000-8,000 in just a couple of months with a very interesting, very easy to execute sub niche. So the lesson here, or if you want to make something like this, I would definitely not make Toyota, but I would take another brand, maybe BMW, maybe Mercedes, Cadillac. I don't know, I'm not a car guy, but I know some of you guys are, so this could be an interesting opportunity for you. Up it a little bit, you can easily make $2,000 to $3,000, but if you want to make more money, the next niche is going to be better for you. I'm talking about planes, with this show right here called Plane Curious. They're making very good videos with very good production quality, but nothing that you couldn't replicate, I'm sure. And they're very consistent with it, right? They're covering rather smart topics, right? So you wouldn't just binge watch this like, oh, let me see what's up. And they're targeting a much older audience that is maybe interested in planes, as the name of the channel intends, Plane Curious, right? Let's see how many views they're getting in the last 20 days and how much money they're making. But I know for sure there is going to be a better opportunity in a niche like this one, because it's a little bit more selective. Not everybody's gonna watch plane videos, so YouTube is gonna pay you a higher RPM for a niche like this one, and there isn't gonna be a bunch of competition, right? We can see that this channel is getting 1.6 million views in the last 20 days and only making $1,800. This is definitely off. This is definitely skewed. I think the channel is making at least $7,000, if not $10,000 with these views. And this is a good reminder that these Chrome extensions and these tools are not always accurate. You just gotta ask yourself, do I think this is a high value niche? Do I think it's more educated people or people with the buying power that watch these type of videos? And if the answer is yes, the RPM they're gonna be looking at is definitely gonna be at least over $5, which in this case is reportedly not, but nonetheless, Plane Curious, very good one. And another bonus niche that I have for you guys is this channel right here called Military Curious, right? We just chatted about Plane Curious, and I'm pretty confident that this is the same channel owner. And again, they took something that was successful, they took their first channel, they doubled down, shifted the concept a little bit, and now they're making similar videos, but in the military niche. As you can see, the channel is relatively new, but they're crushing it with the views. Their second video got over 100,000 views. 2 weeks ago, they got another video with 100,000 views. And with just 10 videos, basically, if we see, they got over half 500,000 views. I'm not sure they're making a bunch of money right now because again, they're not posting often. But as soon as they're gonna dial in the production and make 2, 3, maybe 4 videos a week, this channel is gonna make a bunch of money. And a niche like this, I think there is a lot of potential that you can maybe go into and make something similar, or just execute their playbook, replace plain, replace military with something else that is as interesting or even more interesting, add curious to it, and there you go. You can have a similar channel yourself that has the potential to make you $3,000, $5,000, maybe $10,000 per month. And something similar, but a little bit more easy to create, maybe if you want to get into, it's this channel right here called Aviatrix. This is still in the planes, but this is plain news, so it's different, right? They're making content every single day, as you can see, so they're posting a volume game, and they're still getting quite decent views on some of their videos. All in all, they're getting 680,000 views in the last 20 days and making over $3,000. So as you can see, in this case, the extension is giving them a 4.64 RPM, which I think could be even higher again, but even $3,000 for easy to create videos, I would say that's not too shabby. Now, something else that I'm sure you have never seen before would be channels like this one, Air Crash Investigation, which I guess the name kind of gives it all away, but they're making rather longer videos and they're creating a little bit more quality by having very good animations and replicating different air crashes. Now, if you think you can watch these videos or create them and still get on a plane, this niche can make you a bunch of money. Particularly at least $4,000 if you can manage them, which I think, again, can be even higher. Now, something a little bit easier, I would say, would be airport tips. This channel right here, Jets and Genius, is doing a very good job and has decent quality than most of its competitors. Things like 13 danger signs on an airplane you should never ignore while boarding, or airplane features with hidden purposes you didn't know about, right? These are stuff that are basically instructing you, or usually older passengers, on what to do before boarding on a plane, or how to make sure they don't get denied boarding on stuff like that. And I've seen a bunch of these channels around recently, and that might mean that there is something there to be had. Let's see how many views and how much money this channel is making in particular. 500,000 views in the last 20 days, not too shabby. $1,300. Again, I think it's gonna be a little bit more, but this is something you wanna look into, and specifically something with even less competition, I would say, is gonna be a channel like this one called Cruise Insider. As you can see, they only started 4 months ago and they already have 20,000 subscribers, and they are in a new niche. I personally haven't seen a channel like this one before, but I spent so much time doing all the research to find you guys the best 100 niches, and this is probably one of the newest ones. They're basically taking what the guys were doing with airport tips and they are adapting it for cruises. And again, because it's more niche and not a lot of people go on cruises, the audience here has to be more valuable, and not only that, but there's less competition, so they're getting much more views. 855,000 in the last 20 days and making a whopping $5,500 from it. Not too shabby, very easy to make videos. Now, let's talk about something I think all of us are interested in, and particularly the Billionaire Chronicles, right? This channel right here, it's an interesting combination between economy and luxury, I would say, or like economy and money, but otherwise they're posting very easy to make videos. I think they're using AI to create an entire channel because they're posting a bunch of content, right? They're not necessarily getting a bunch of views per video, as you can see, but once in a while they have one like this one with the richest Indian family in America with 124,000 views. The RPM for this channel has to be very high, but let's see how many views are getting in total and how much money you could make. Okay, they got 1.3 million views and are estimated to be making $3,000, which I think it's higher, but even if it's just $3,000, you can make those videos very easy using AI and you are still gonna be able to turn a profit of at least $1,000 to $2,000 for not doing a lot of work. Moving on to something similar or maybe more niche, if you're passionate about jewelry or if you're a lady watching this video, then you are gonna love this one, The Secret Garden of Gems, which I would say is in the jewelry niche, right? I didn't know this existed until about a year ago when some of our students started a very similar channel. And if you can see, their most popular videos are usually about celebrities, and they're getting hundreds of thousands of views with this rather simple to make videos. I don't think they're getting many views all in all, but again, this is a channel that not a lot of people are gonna start, so that is gonna allow you to kind of be in a niche of your own, not have much competition, and kind of take all the views for your own. But the potential, I would say, it's a little bit limited. I don't think you can make $10,000 per month consistently in a niche like this one, but if you're looking to make 400,000 views as this channel has and make anywhere from $300 to maybe $3,000, I would say this is still gonna be a good opportunity. And when people tell you that faceless channels are saturated, just show them this channel, which basically talks about stones, right? Like precious stones. It's called Cabo Danao Gemstones, and they also sell an ebook you can see right here. We're not going to click on that link, but they're basically making videos about sapphires and emeralds, and they're getting quite decent views. 800,000 in the last 28 days and making over $6,000 with it. This is crazy. Like, who would have thought you can have a channel about stones, or of course precious stones, and make $6,000? Well, I guess it's possible, and I can bet not a lot of people know about this niche. Going a little bit more broad, if you're passionate about luxury and you watch this type of content, you should know about this channel right here called King Luxury. They've been around for a very long time. They're posting a bunch of content, as you can see, and they're making a bunch of money. For some reason, I think they've deleted or unlisted some of their videos because this is not really accurate. But even this is, they're making at least $4,000 a month. I think with almost 1 million subscribers, they have to be making more money than that. And they're not the only ones. This channel right here, Wealth Vault, for example, although isn't posting consistently, has some massive videos that you've probably seen as well. Videos like stupidly expensive things Elon Musk owns, or billionaires' most expensive cars even millionaires can afford. This is a channel more tailored towards a younger audience, but as you can see, they're getting a bunch of views, and I'm sure they're making a bunch of money as well. Switching gears a little bit, I want to introduce you guys to the royal niche, which I'm sure none of you have seen before, but there's this channel right here called Boss Story, which, as you can see, makes weekly videos usually about crazy stories, usually from royal families of different countries, right? I'm not sure how they're going about copyright with this one, but since they've been posting over 125 videos, I am sure there is a way to capitalize on the royal fame, basically, on people wanting to see basically behind the private lives of royal families and stuff. And this channel right here is crushing it. But a similar channel that does it even better, I think, is this one right here called The Prime Expedition. They're recently making videos about royal news and everything news related, and they're getting a bunch more views than the first one with easier to make videos because they're posting so much more. They're getting over 5 million views in the last 28 days and making over $16,000 with, again, rather easy to make videos, so this might be an interesting opportunity for you. Upping the production quality again, let's look at this channel called Old Money Mentions. Those videos look extremely well made, and these guys definitely know what they're doing, but in my opinion, they're not posting nearly as much as they could, and they're leaving a bunch of money on the table. Otherwise, they're creating extremely good content. I've watched some of those videos myself, and if you're passionate in mentions and old historical stuff, this might be a great opportunity for you. And speaking of good opportunities in history, this channel right here, World War II Tales, is crushing it right now. As you can see, they're getting just shy of 12 million views and making over $74,000 per month. I'm sure this is closer to $100,000 given this niche and what I know about it, but even $74,000 is a record for today's video. Now, I want to show you something that might not be very good for all of you, and I personally wouldn't have a stomach to do something like this, but one of my students actually has this channel called History on Fleek, and they're making videos about torture history. I'm not going to talk a lot about this, but I am going to tell you that the opportunity is good. Again, if you can make this type of videos, you can make a bunch of money in a niche like this, because not a lot of people are willing to do it, but there are some people who are interested and who are curious in seeing exactly what happened and what went wrong during those times. History on Fleek has gotten over 4 million views in the last 20 days alone and made over $26,000, which is crazy. Now, if you're passionate about history but you don't want to talk about torture stuff, Crunchy History might be a good one, which is a history explainer channel. They're looking at different military tactics and different times in history, and they're making very simple explainer videos. They're not getting as much views as the previous channels, but this might be a very good way to get your feet wet and start your own Faceless YouTube channel. And if we talk about explainer channels, I have to show you this one called The Analyst, or this one right here, Bo Na, which are making very simple videos, but are getting sometimes millions of views on each and every single one, which I think it's great. The money opportunity, it's lower. I think any of these channels can be making from $3,000 to $5,000 per month, but if you like this type of content, this might be something for you. Another great channel that I bet you guys have not seen before is this one right here called History Meets
finance. And obviously, as the title says, it's a combination between history times and what happened financially, which in my opinion, it's a genius idea. They're making content about the stupid mistakes that took down Al Capone's empire and the Rockefellers being behind Saudi Arabia's wealth, like very controversial topics that happen in history. And they're getting 1 million views a month making this type of videos, taking home over $2,000. Again, this being history and finance, I'm sure they're making much more money, but this is the absolute lowest in my opinion. And if you want to hit 2 birds with 1 stone, making money on YouTube while talking about money, the next niches that we're going to talk about are going to be for you, particularly Epic Economist. I've talked about this channel multiple times here on the channel, and still not a lot of people have started it. Right now, they're not doing as well from what I can see, but they've slowed down posting. So if you can make videos like this one covering particularly the US economy or maybe other economies as well, I know for a fact that this channel has generated over $1 million since they started. And another way to approach these topics would be to do what Casual Economics is doing and create explainer videos combined with sticky man animations, but covering these very high level topics. And they're getting 600,000 views, 150,000 views, 2.8 million views. They're posting very rarely. As you can see, they have 5 videos in the last year. So this might be your opportunity to get into this niche and make a bunch of money. Another one that I really like and has very good documentaries would be this one right here called Established Context. They cover economy combined with culture trends, and they're making videos as soon as something new happens, and this strategy is working very well for them. They've gotten almost 1 million views last month, and with a higher PM, I think they're making at least $7,000 to $10,000 per month. Now, let's talk about investing. John Money's Adventures is a channel that I know has been around for years and is still going. They're posting 2 to 3 videos a week and covering very high level topics. Actually, those are beginner topics, but they approach finance and investing, which is going to pay you a very high RPM, meaning how much money you can make per 1,000 views. They're getting 1.2 million views a month, making over $7,000 from AdSense revenue alone. And remember guys, with channels like this one, there's going to be a bunch of money in brand deals and affiliate marketing as well. And I guess how money works is going to be the perfect representation of that. They've grown significantly. You have probably seen one of their videos. Their most popular are hitting 6 million views, 4 million views. If nobody can afford a home, who's going to buy them? The overdue collapse of short-term rentals. You have to have watched some of these videos and probably have seen this channel. And not only they're making much of money from AdSense revenue, as I was saying with those niches paying a premium, but this channel is probably making tens of thousands of dollars per month from brand deals and affiliate marketing on top of the 5 million views they're getting monthly and the measly $10,000 they're reported to be making here. I think this number, once again, it's much closer to like $30,000, $40,000. So please keep in mind that not all those estimates are always going to be accurate. Bonus niche, before we shift away from the world of business, which I really like, I want to show you guys something that is not an ideal competitor, so to say, but more so an underdeveloped opportunity that you can go and capitalize on. So the channel right here called The Art of Business. As you can see, they've only posted 3 videos, but they've gotten over 1.3, maybe 1.4 million views between them, and they've got almost 30,000 subscribers, right? So what they did, if you look a little bit at the titles, is why Lululemon is ahead of its time, why Spotify keeps losing money. They're making these finance documentaries or finance analysis on companies, which I think is genius. Not a lot of people are doing this. So as long as you are passionate a little bit about business, or you're a business student or want to learn about business, and you know how to use AI to do all this research and get your facts right, I think this can be an amazing opportunity that not a lot of people are doing right now. If I was to start over again and all I could do was start channels, this would definitely be on my list. So if you're a beginner, if you like business, if you like AI, this is a good opportunity for you, and that's why it's a bonus niche. Now, let's look at something more simple that you don't need a bunch of business or financial expertise to do, like this channel right here, Global Stats. They're making these graph visualization videos. I'm sure you've seen some of them before on different topics, and they're very easy to make. You can use AI nowadays to create those videos, absolutely, but they're getting a bunch of views. Over 4 million in the last 28 days, which is not too shabby, making them at least $3,500 per month. Now, another massive channel that you guys probably know about, but I still want to talk because it's impressive, is this one right here called Magnates Media. You probably have watched at least some of their documentaries, and they approach companies and the economy
from this dark truth, right? You can see the disturbing truth, pyramid schemes, the dark truth. They have this kind of dark side of what's going on, but they're getting millions of views on almost each and every single video. And I remember I wanted to promote something on their channel, so I got in contact with the owner, and I think they quoted me $13,000 or $18,000 for one sponsorship. So you know they're making a bunch of money from brand deals alone, on top of the 1 million views that they're getting monthly and the $2,000, which I'm sure it's not correct, that they're making from AdSense revenue. I would say this channel makes easily $50,000 to $100,000 a month. Another similar channel, but one that I think it's much more underrated, and I'm not sure why, is this one right here called Company Man. This is probably one of my favorite faceless YouTube channels, and I've probably watched. They have 445 videos. I've watched at least 100 of them. And if you are someone who's like me, passionate about companies, you want to know the history of companies, this guy right here, or this team, is doing a fantastic job. They have a couple formats like why they're successful, what happened in the rise and fall, and they're just making videos about each and every single company and depending on what's happening in the market. I was actually interested in buying this channel, but nobody has responded to me, so I'm not sure they even do brand deals, but they're getting almost 1 million views a month, making 4,000 on the low end from AdSense revenue, so I'm sure they're doing quite well. And if we're talking about documentaries, we have to talk about Fern, which I'm not sure if you guys know, but has actually been acquired by private equity. The amount was not disclosed, but I'm sure it was 6, if not 7 figures, so more than $1 million. They probably pioneered this style of documentaries, and if you haven't watched one of their videos yet, I highly recommend. Extreme quality. I wouldn't say this is something that you want to do if you're a beginner, but if you're serious about this game or you want to start a media company, taking something like this and covering very interesting topics that can reach millions and millions of people every single time you upload, this is a 6-figure a month for multi-million-dollar per year opportunity. And I would go in a sub niche like this channel right here, Zufri, is doing. They are saying they make documentaries for curious minds, and they've got 41 videos about robberies. So they are making documentaries about robberies. The quality is not 100% as good as Fern, but I would say this is an incredibly good start, right? They've got videos with 1.4 million views, and they're getting about 700,000 views a month, making more than $622, but again, still a very good channel. Pivoting just a little bit, I want to show you guys this channel, which is in the real estate niche, right? It's called Discover the Abroad. They have a bunch of videos, and they're making videos almost every single day about news, so similar to what we covered with Epic Economist, let's say, but about the housing market in the US specifically. And these topics, I think they're always going to be of interest because Americans own a bunch of homes, or people want to buy homes, so they want to know what's happening in the nation with the market. Is it crashing? Is it collapsing? Is it a good time to buy? And this channel is serving exactly that audience. They're getting 1.5 million views a month, and with an 11.7 RPM, they're making at least $15,000 to $17,000 per month. And this is relatively a new niche, so you could easily tap into this right now. There is still room. If you don't want to do news, but are interested in construction or buildings in general, The Impossible Build is a channel that one of my students used to own. And he was making about $7,000 per month with this channel, and then went on to sell it for $155,000, which is crazy, right? Now, since then, they've declined a little bit, so they're making around $4,000 or $5,000 per month right now, but still, this is how a $100,000 plus channel looks like, and he started from scratch without any previous experience, which tells me that you can do the same. And the great thing about the construction niche or the mega projects niche is that if you play to the highest level, you can make a channel like the B1M, right? Another channel that is very popular, you guys have probably seen it. They basically cover every single mega project that is going on in the world, and I'm sure the valuation alone on this channel is 7 figures, so this channel is easily worth more than $1 million. And of course, they're making a bunch of money too. 12 million views at the 4.7 RPM, this is at least $50,000 per month from AdSense revenue alone, not to mention that they have 12 links in their bio, if you guys can see right here, so they're probably getting a bunch more views on other platforms, they're having brand deals, sponsorships, easily making multi-million-dollar per year. Geopolitics is also an interesting niche. So let's look at across the globe, which I think is a good representation of this niche because they're getting a bunch of views. Obviously, their content quality is very high. They're almost making documentary style content, but it's relatively simple to make because you can see 50 insane facts about Louisiana you've never heard. This is a simple topic with a simple execution, simple to do research. AI can help you with a bunch of this, but it's a 30-minute video, and just like this one that you're watching right now, not a lot of people are willing to go make videos about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes. So that could be your opportunity, right? This channel right here, I'm sure it's getting a bunch of views, but let's check. Yes, as we can see, 2 million views at the $6.5 RPM. This is at least $13,000 to $15,000 per month. Great niche right here. And if you like geopolitics, you maybe have seen The Invisible Hand, which I think are kind of the OGs, and they've kind of patented this type of videos, but they're actually making shorter videos of higher quality, I would say, right? So I wouldn't spend much time on this one. I'm sure they're getting a bunch of views. I'm sure they're making a bunch of money. You gotta look into this if you're passionate about geopolitics. Switching gears a little bit, let's go into the military niche, which specifically military secrets drew my attention when I was doing research because of these crazy AI thumbnails. And one more thing that I've noticed, and you've noticed this a little bit maybe if you've just stuck with me up until this point, their videos are always 8 minutes and 8 seconds. I'm not sure what is going on there. I'm not sure why they're doing that, but the videos are pretty good, and I'm sure they're making decent money. They're putting in 2.5 million views with a lower RPM indeed, but they're still making over $7,000. So if you're passionate about this stuff, this might be your opportunity. But let me show you something else, because there's this other channel called Military Mechanics, which in my opinion has a much better quality. They're posting shorts as well indeed, and the other one isn't, but this is making more specific content, I would say. They're going a little bit more in depth. It's for more enthusiasts, right? Or like people who are mechanics or who have been mechanics in the army, so to say. This channel right here also making $3,000 to $5,000 per month. Really good opportunity in a sub niche of military, let's say. Or if you want to go broader, you can start a channel like Front Coast, which I think it's a classic top 10 channel, or at least that's how they started. They're now making these wow videos about military weapons, right? I would say this is the niche, or a military plane, so to say, and their quality is pretty good. They're making $3,000 to $5,000 per month as well. So if you see that, if you are in this gap, if you just want to get your feet away, if you want to get started, I would recommend into channels like this one and going in a smaller sub niche. And I think this channel right here called The Hidden Menu is the perfect representation of that. Again, I doubt that a lot of you guys have seen this channel before, because they're basically talking about news in the fast food / supermarket chain type of stuff. And again, this is a very weird but very interesting at the same time sub niche that can make you a bunch of money. I checked and they're making about $4,000 per month right now, but at the peak they're making $10,000. And I know there is a lot of opportunity in here because one of my students started a channel and is recently crushing it. So if you want to go into something like this, do your research and pivot into a similar sub niche. Another interesting one, similar but not the same, would be the prepper niche, or like the preparing for doomsday niche, we can call it. This one right here is crushing with this type of videos. The thumbnails look that they're making entirely with AI, so they're probably using Midjourney and Canva to put them together. And they're making these doomsday videos like apocalypse is coming, brace yourselves. But let's see how much money they're making. Almost 500,000 views at an $8 RPM. They're in the $4,000 to $5,000 per month, which is not too shabby given that they're mostly using AI. And if you want to go a little bit more mainstream, you want to have some cable news vibes, this one right here called Frugal Daily is going to be your best spot. If you see, their thumbnails even look like they're from cable news, and they're getting a bunch of views. Almost 600,000, making over $3,000, almost $4,000 per month. Talking about Frugal Daily, this is not too shabby. And if you stuck with me until this point, then you are in luck, because it's about to get much more interesting. The next couple of channels that I'm going to show you guys, I'm sure you haven't seen before, and I think there's a massive opportunity. Starting with this one, Frugal Solutions. But this is nothing about frugal necessarily, but this is the Amish niche. I personally didn't know that this niche ever existed, where like these people kind of existed, so excuse me for my lack of culture, but apparently the Amish culture is very popular. This channel has videos with 2.3 million views, 1.8 million views, 1.7 million views, and I know at the peak they're making over $10,000 per month. So this is something that you definitely gotta look into. And going on to the next one, maybe as interesting, there's this other channel right here, Inuit Discovery, which basically is in the Inuit niche, right? They've taken the same playbook where they study a group of people and they make a bunch of videos about them. Now, this one, I don't think they're a $10,000 per month channel, but they're making around 5,000, which is not too shabby. And once again, they've been able to get videos to get 2.2 million views, 1.8, 1,800,000, which is pretty good. A newer one that also similar, which I guess kind of shows us that we can still start a channel like this if you find a group of people or if you find something from the past that is interesting enough and you can cover, is this one right here called Viking Times, right? You know, earlier in the video we talked about Pirate Times TV. If you didn't see that one, you might want to check it out. But this one is very interesting. It's a new channel, so they're only making about $1,000 per month right now, but I think they have potential. They could definitely do better with quality, or you could go in and you could be the one with better quality. Okay, the last one that I want to show you, because I think you got the point with these niches, would be the Native Americans niche, right? This channel right here, Native Journals, has better quality than pretty much anything that we've seen in this realm. And they're talking, I'm not exactly sure whether this was like the early 1900s or even the 1800s. Again, I'm not the best historian, so to say, but they're having very interesting videos, as you can see right here, and it's actually working for them. They're almost getting 500,000 views with a $5.5 RPM, so it's a $3,000 per month channel with, again, very limited competition. I guess all of these channels start with this one right here, which is really the medieval niche, right? We have Medieval Madness with almost 500,000 subscribers. They got over 55 million views, so they've made hundreds of thousands of dollars from this channel. But right now, they're not doing as good as they used to. They're not at their peak. So I think all of these channels just inspire themselves for this one, and you can probably use the same playbook. Now, the next one, it's a little bit weird, and you tell me if you've seen something like this before, because I was shocked when I came across this. So I was doing research for this video, and I found this channel called Mystic Voyage, which I guess we could call they're in the DNA niche. And it might seem like they're not really getting views, but if we filter by most popular, they've had some pretty good ones, like 274,000, 193, 153. They have a bunch of videos and they've gotten over 4 million views, which have probably made them like $20,000, $30,000 only talking about DNA and kind of the history of DNAs, right? So the next time you think, oh my God, opportunity, it's kind of saturated or there's not a lot of niches, just remember, there are people making tens of thousands of dollars with DNA channels. Or this one right here called Wild America, which I think it's probably one of my favorites. If I were to make a top 20, let's say, they would definitely make it. I really like their thumbnails. I like their production quality. I think this is really, really good. And I'm personally kind of a sucker for these topics, but they are making very good videos about the old America, I would say, but from an interesting angle, right? You guys know that we've talked a lot about on the channel about vintage America type channels, but this one is doing it differently and it works for them. They've gotten 1.2 million views in the last 28 days and they're easily making over $4,000, again, with very limited competition, because not a lot of people are thinking to start these channels, which is why I'm sitting here and busting my ass recording this long tutorial for you guys, or long videos, so you can see these opportunities and you can go and make money with this. Bonus niche, speaking to Americans out there, or if you are passionate about this, I'm sure this is gonna crush. So there's a channel right here called Cinema Cars, and the reason why I didn't include it with the cars niche is I think it's a little bit special. So as you can see in their description, they say that they explored iconic cars from TV shows and movies through original documentaries, whatever, but they're perfectly combining movie clout, or people who are movie fans, with people who are car fans. So as you can see, they make videos about Batmobiles from the 1966 movie or the 1973 Mad Max, and then they just kind of analyze or make weird facts about those cars. The production is very simple and it's actually very catchy. As you can see, they only use an image and then that catchy arrow, which I think makes it very mass appealing, and it's working tremendously for them. As you can see, they're getting over 1.4 million views, and unfortunately we don't have an estimate here, but we do have an RPM of $4, so they're easily making over $5,000 per month, but I would say it can be even higher, so this is a tremendous niche. Give it a shot. Now, to stay in this wild category, let's look at this one, Animal Quests. They're basically talking about dangerous encounters between humans and animals, right? And I would bet, given the thumbnails, that most of these videos are entirely generated AI. The stories are almost absurd. Like, these 5 Karens got eaten alive by deadly animals. Like, I'm sure this didn't actually exist. And those videos are very easy to make, but this channel is getting over 1 million views and easily making $7,500 per month. And if you want to do the same, I would go in the other sharks sub niche, like this one right here, Sharks Beware, which are basically using the same type of stuff, but they're only
covering shark attacks, or this one, which I like more, which is called Grizzly Tales, right? Kind of same play, grizzly attacks, ruthless attacks, caught on camera. I would say 80% fabricated, 20% real, making $3,000 to $4,000 a month. And probably one of my favorite animal channels that I didn't even know existed, but I have over 1 million subscribers, is called Extinct Zoo. They're making very interesting videos. They're only posting once a week, it sounds like, but the quality of their videos is insane. But they are getting over 8 million views every single month, and this is all long form. You guys can see they don't have shorts, and they're making over $33,000, which I guess goes to show that any topic, no matter how simple or how easy it might sound, can make you a bunch of money. And an easier place to start if you like animals would be channels like this one called Dinzo, or this one right here called Wallace. I'm not sure if these guys are friends or what's happening here because they look very similar, but they make very similar white background videos on a very specific format. They start with animals, Wallace kind of pivoted into something else, which I guess is an interesting play. If you like something like this, look into this. I think they're making $3,000 to $5,000 per month as well. The next one might surprise you. It's called Anna Wop. I know for a fact that the owner behind this channel is definitely not a girl, and her name is not Anna. I think it's actually a guy, and they've basically done something genius. They took a normal celebrity channel, right? I'm sure you guys have seen these videos, or if you watch some of my videos, we've covered celebrity channels before, but they created a personality around it. And it's not a real personality, it's a fictitious one. But by having a character and by having a little bit of a beachy personality with this character, they've added a lot of value to this channel. I know they've made over $1 million from this one alone, so celebrities is still a great opportunity if done right. More of a normal channel, let's say, in the same niche, but slightly different. I would say Anna Whoop is more drama. This is just celebs. It's called the Urban Noir, right? I know they've been around for a little bit and they cover a bunch of different topics. They're posting a bunch of videos, but they're rather easy to make. They're getting 100,000 views per month and making a $5,000, which I think for this niche, $60,000 a year, I'll definitely take it. Even one more interesting one in the rappers niche would be the Bando, which sub niche, they only have 46 videos, and I'm not sure what's happening, but as of recently, they started posting way less. They're only focusing on posting one video per week, and in comparison to the celebrity channels that we've covered, this is very little, but they're still very successful even with this low volume. They're getting 1.9 million views in the last 28 days and have made over $17,000 posting one video per week. And the last one before we kind of close this category and move to the next one, which is going to be sports, is this channel here called Tell Us More, which kind of makes documentaries on celebrities. So they've taken this niche and again, like Anna Whoop, added a different angle with these cartoon thumbnails and these documentary style videos. I personally am not a fan of negativity and making videos from the dark side, but there's definitely an audience. They're getting 850,000 views and have made $3,777 last month, which is not too shabby. But let's talk about sports, which I think is going to be a great opportunity because I know a lot of you guys are playing sports, are interested in sports, and are watching sports. So why not make money with the sports channel? One of the greatest sports channels, if you ask me, is this one right here called Nonstop, which has over 600 videos and they're still actively posting, getting hundreds of thousands of views on each and every single video. Their quality is indeed very good, but they also make a bunch of money. They got almost 5 million views in the last 28 days, and with a $5 RPM, this means they're making $25,000 to $35,000 easily. And again, you already know it, with these big channels, they're making at least another $10,000 in brand deals and affiliate revenue as well. Bonus niche, before we go and talk about some other sports, I really want to show you guys this channel right here called Athletic Interest. They talk about sports, they talk about business, and they make documentaries. So this is actually one of the very few channels that I used to watch about sports back in the day. I'm not a huge sports fan. I like to know a little bit about it, but because they combine it so well with business, right? They're merging to passions, they're merging to interest very well. They gain me as a viewer, and they gain 777,000 other subscribers as well, with only 136 videos, as you can see. Now, their videos are very complex to make, but if you are a fan and if you want to create the highest level of quality on YouTube, you want to go with something like this. They're only getting about 300,000 views per month right now and making maybe less than $1,000. But I would say that is mostly due to the fact that they're not posting. I mean, they posted 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, 4 months ago. So this might be your opportunity to go in and capitalize on this. And remember, the most money with a channel like this, and in general with high-level documentary channels, is not in AdSense revenue, but
in brand deals. I'm sure they can easily charge $5,000 per video integrations, if not more. So I'm sure this channel generated and can still generate a bunch of money. But that was a general sports channel. And now let's look at more specific sports, starting with Formula Today, which is a Formula One channel. And they're actually covering news. They're posting a bunch of videos, like 16 hours, 18 hours, one day ago. I think they're posting 2 to 3 videos per day. And that tells me that the quality, or like how hard it is to make those videos, is not very hard. Their thumbnails look very good, but they're all pretty much the same. And all in all, I would say this is a very good beginner channel. If you're passionate about this and you want to make $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 per month, this is a great start. If you want to take things to the next level within Formula One, let's look at Daily Fuel Up, which is a more documentary style channel, also about Formula One. You can see they're posting 1 to 2 videos per week, and the videos are shorter and they're still very good quality, right? Which I think is kind of what sets this video apart. They've gotten 3.8 million views in the last 28 days, making over $15,000 per month, which puts them at a $200,000 to $300,000 valuation easily, which is very good for a Formula One channel. The equivalent of that in American football, if that's what you're into, is this channel right here called Blitz. And I think they're owned by Nonstop, the general sports channel that we just covered earlier. And you can see they also make very good content. They only post 1 video a week, and they're pretty much getting over 100,000 views every single time they upload. They've gotten over 4 million views in the last 28 days. They've made over $26,000, so they definitely know what they're doing. And if you want to start with this, but want to start with an easier challenge with a channel that you could easily make, this one right here, NFL Unveiled, is a much better one. They're making similar videos, only have 12,000 subscribers, and their quality is not as good. So this shows me that you could be somewhere between Blitz quality and this channel and still make $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 per month. If this channel can, you definitely can as well. But maybe it's European football that interests you, and then I recommend looking at Football All Stars, which is somewhat a combination between a celebrity channel and a football channel. So I would say it's a football entertainment niche. It's not a pure football channel, but they're still getting 100,000 views here and there. And all in all, they've gotten over 700,000 views last month and make anywhere from $1.5 to maybe $2.5 thousand, which is not too shabby, right? Sports are usually lower paid, and I know that because I have this portfolio channel called Football Historia. I would say our quality on this channel is much better than the one that we've previously shown you, and this is also slightly a different niche. I would say this is football, and now let me take you inside YouTube Studio and show you the numbers. As you can see, in the last 20 days, we've made a similar amount, 1,600. In the last 90 days, we've made over $8,000. Let's see the year of 2025. So this year alone, 20,000. And lifetime, since this channel basically has existed, $28,000, not too shabby. We also got an exit offer. I think someone wanted to buy the channel for $20,000 or $30,000, but we said no, and we continue to run it. Oh, and I almost forgot, probably one of the best football channels. I think this is more entertaining, so this is almost like top 10 viral niche. Is this one right here called Kickflix, right? You've probably seen one of their videos because literally some of their most popular content got 19 million views, 17 million views, 12 million views. This channel has made over $1 million in total from all their videos, I'm sure. And this kind of shows that it's possible even though the RPM is lower, even though you're getting paid less per 1,000 views. But let's move to the next sport and let's talk about basketball. This channel right here, Hoop Dungeon, is a relatively new channel, relatively small, 40,000 subscribers, and they're doing a pretty good job. They're posting videos 3 times a day. They're relatively short, so you can make something like this as well. And they've gotten just shy of 1 million views, making them almost $5,000 per month. So great job. A more interesting one, switching towards basketball documentaries. This channel right here posts 2K, right? You can see they're only making videos 2 to 3 times a month. They are usually longer, and the thumbnails look a little bit more aesthetic, which is something that is kind of done in the documentary niche, right? I would say if you're a fan of basketball, maybe you've seen this channel before, they're also doing quite good as well. It had 40,000 views in the last 28 days, and they've made around $5,000, which kind of shows us that quality isn't always an indicator of making more money, right? It doesn't really matter if your videos are the best of the best. There's volume that comes into play, there's niche that comes into play, there's audience, and there's a bunch of things. And the next channel that I'm going to show you, which is in the WNBA, so women's basketball, kind of is the perfect representation of that.
This channel right here in particular is a news channel, right? So it's a women's basketball, but I talk about news. And I remember a couple of months ago, we had a bunch of students making $10, $20, $30,000 per month in this niche with videos going viral around Caitlin Clark. Now, this channel isn't making as much money now, but this shows that even with a new style, kind of lower quality content, you can make a bunch of money, and this niche presents a nice opportunity. And now let me show you something very interesting, which you probably haven't seen before. We have a channel here called Mortal Chess, and they're making chess videos, right? Chess is not as popular as a sport, right, as basketball or football or American football is, but this channel has still managed to get millions of views combined on rather very specific chess videos, right? And it's not the only one. There's also this one right here called Chess Theory, which kind of gives you tips around playing chess. So if this is something that you're interested in, I would say you can easily make $2,000 to $3,000 making videos about your passion without showing your face. Similarly, one niche that I came across randomly was this one right here called Poker Bear. And as you guessed it, they're covering poker videos, and especially their first video got 2.5 million views. Unfortunately, they haven't stayed consistent and they haven't uploaded. I mean, they have 9 videos in 2 years. They uploaded another one 3 weeks ago that only got 49 views. So I'm not sure what's happening here, but I would say poker can easily be a $2,000 to $3,000 per month niche. Very easy, not a lot of competition, so you might go get it. Now, something that has more competition, it's also a sport, but I think it's a good opportunity overall, is this channel right here called MMA Zone, in the MMA niche, right? They're posting a bunch of videos every single day. They all look the same. They all look very wowy, and you probably got used to this by now. We know this is a news channel. They're getting just shy of 1 million views per month with a $2.5 PM, making them from $2,000 to $3,000. If you're passionate about this, go get it. Now, another one that I want to show you, and you kind of seen by now that within each niche, there's kind of 2 different sub niches. One of them being news, but another one being documentaries. Flashback MMA is making MMA documentaries. They're only posting about once a week. They're making rather long videos, and they all look pretty much the same, which kind of tells me that they're using the same format to make those videos, but it works for them. They're getting 1.3 million views in the last 20 days, $2.5 PM. So again, we're looking at $3,000 to $4,000 with this MMA channel right here. But let's move on and let's go to the next niche, which is WWE or wrestling, I guess, right? The show right here, Ring Rivals, has over 100,000 subscribers, is posting daily videos, and it's a combination between the news niche, the celebrity niche, and kind of entertaining stuff. They're making very good thumbnails. I mean, those are very interesting, so to say. I would see why people click on a bunch of those, especially for fans of WWE and this audience. They're getting 1.4 million views a month with a $3.25 PM, so making easily $4,000 to $5,000 per month. And staying in the same area but a different niche, we have the boxing niche. This is a boxing news channel called Fighter's Corner. They cover everything that kind of boxers do online, press conferences, interviews, before the fight highlights. Those are very easy to make videos. We've seen those thumbnails before with celebrities, but let's see how much money they're making. They're getting more than WWE channels with 2.2 million views in the last 20 days and making just shy of $10,000, which is very, very good. I also have a student who's a 17-year-old kid who has a boxing channel, which we're not going to reveal for his privacy, and he's making $25,000 to $30,000 per month. So boxing is definitely a good opportunity, and not necessarily with news, but you could also have a channel like this one right here called the Boxing Code, which is the next niche that we're going to talk about. I would say kind of boxing documentaries, right? We've seen this before. They are making 20-minute videos, a lot of before and after. Their thumbnails are not as good, so this could be your opportunity to step in and to make better videos. And not only that, but they're also posting, I think, like 2 videos a month, and they're not very consistent, but still they're making $3,000 to $4,000 per month. And if boxing or fighting in general isn't exactly what you want to talk about, then how about golf, right? You can either have a golf news channel like this one right here, and they're getting quite a bit of views, or you could have more of a evergreen golf documentary channel covering the player's lifestyle like 24 Golf is doing, and this could easily be a $2,000 to $3,000 per month channel as well. Now, we talked a bunch about sports, so let's switch gears a little bit and go to this channel right here called 40 Plus Men's Fashion. Once again, I'm not sure if you have seen this before, I'm not sure if you knew this existed, but I truly think that we kind of have a gem right here, because if you look at these guys' thumbnails, or like this channel's thumbnails in general, I think we can all agree that it can be done much better. They are working for them, which is not bad, but I think we can easily go in, make better thumbnails, maybe post a little bit more videos, maybe go daily, and we could overall do a better job. Overall, they're still getting almost 700,000 views and making over $2,000 per month, so
good opportunity. And if maybe you are a lady watching this video or you know more about women's fashion, there's also this channel right here, which is in the new niche, Style Over 60, right? They make very similar videos. Their thumbnails are looking better. Now we are looking at something a little bit more aesthetic. They're also posting daily videos, so this channel it's a little bit more optimized, and he's also making $2,000 to $3,000 per month. Now the next one might surprise you, and something that you've seen with both of these channels, it was men's over 40, style over 60. This next niche is basically the elders niche, right? Especially with this channel right here, elders wise advice. They have very easy to make videos. For some reason, they're not posting consistently, but you can easily come in this niche and do a much better job, starting with thumbnails, maybe slightly longer videos, post more often. But even with that being said, this channel is still making decent money. Let me show you. They're getting almost 900,000 views per month, and they're making over $6,000. And if you've seen these videos and you've seen those estimates, you might say, well, we've seen a bunch of sports channels, for example, who were getting more views and they were not making as much money. This goes back to RPM, right? For this niche, for example, it's $6.85 and can be even higher because, as the name of the channel says, it's elders watching this type of videos, and they have a high buying power. They're usually watching videos for longer. They're seeing more ads. So this might be part of your strategy. Now, another strategy you could employ when it comes to starting your own Faceless YouTube channel would be to go in the big league, right? This channel right here, for example, police fights in what we call the body cam niche. And I've had a bunch of people make hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes even per month, with this niche. I would say there is a lot of saturation when it comes to this, but I would say it might still be worth it if you know what you're doing. This channel, for example, got 888,000 views in the last 28 days, made over $5,000, and is just one of many. A similar one in a slightly different niche, I would say the first one was the police videos niche. This is through body cam, and they have a bunch of different videos about terrible mothers, Karens, dumb thieves caught on camera, a bunch of this viral stuff that you can usually see get tens of millions of views, right? This stuff can go extremely viral. And here's the proof. Body Cam Boss has gotten over 4.4 million views in the last 28 days alone and made almost $30,000. A similar but slightly different niche is the courtroom niche, especially this channel right here called Courtroom, that for some reason hasn't posted in 1 year. But as you can see, their videos are crazy viral. 12 million views, 8.3 million views, 11 million views. All in all, with only 13 videos, they've gotten over 100 million views, right? So we are looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, maybe something happened and it deleted some of their videos, but I'm not sure if a lot of people are still making videos in this niche, which might be an opportunity for you to step in. Now, something that we didn't talk at all about in this video would be health and wellness niches, right? For example, this one right here, Body Hub, has been around for a very long time, and I truly believe it's like a cash cow, meaning they have 1.5 million subscribers, and they're not posting as often as they could. Their thumbnail quality is now very nice, and their videos, as you can see from the small previews, they're very nice animations working quite well for them. They aren't getting a bunch of views and making much of money, but given that they're posting so rarely, you could step in, do what they're doing, post more often, and make a bunch more money than they're making. And I guess to kind of back that statement up, let's look at this channel, which is Health Today. I would say this is health tips, right? Goodbye high creatinine, 5 superfoods seniors might have, avoid dialysis, and they're basically kind of giving seniors advice. As you can see, they have seniors in a bunch of their videos on what to eat and how to basically get the most out of what they're eating in order to preserve their health and stay in good shape, I would say. And of course, you already know that because they are making their videos and tailoring their videos towards senior, they're gonna have a higher RPM, but let's see how much money they're making. They've gotten 600,000 views in the last 28 days, and their RPM is almost $7. So as a result of that, they're making around $6,000 to $7,000. So you can see that targeting specific audiences can make you a bunch of money. Bonus niche, religion. And we're looking at a channel called Bible Haven, which you can see with only 22 videos, they are almost at 100,000 subscribers, which is just insane. If we filter by oldest, they only started 3 months ago and they are crushing it. They're out of the park. As you can see, their most popular video has over 1.1 million views, 666,000 views, 457,000 views, and they're taking something somewhat underrated, right? Not a lot of people are making content around this topic, and rightfully so. I would think not everybody needs to make content around this topic for sure, but these guys are doing it and are monetizing it also very, very well. As you can see, they're getting over 1.1 million views every single month, and in the last 30 days alone, they're estimated to have made over $10,000, which I would say it's fairly accurate. So there's a lot of money in channels like this one as well. Now, the next niche is gonna be very controversial. This channel right here, Motech, I hope that's how I pronounce it, is basically covering conspiracy theories, right? Which I know a lot of people like, a lot of people are watching for sure, because they are making quite a bunch of money for rather simple videos. They've gotten over 2 million views in the last 20 days alone and made over $14,000. So if you like talking about conspiracy theories with your friends, you might as well make those videos and start making money off of it. The next channel is kind of similar, but I would say it's a different niche. This one is in the weird stories or like supernatural stories and covering a bunch of mystery stories. I don't know how to categorize them, but they're pumping out content. I mean, look at this, 10 hours ago, 12 hours ago, 17 hours ago. I guess they're posting 3 videos each and every single day. So we gotta respect the hustle, but I think the numbers are even more respectable. There we go, 3 million views, and they've made over $20,000. Very good job. And now, keeping the best for last, the next channel here is gonna be an interesting one, and I think it has a very good opportunity. So it's called the Star Wars Galaxy, but I would not say this is in the Star Wars niche. This is in the what if niche, or at least that's what I want you to take out of it. Because while this channel is covering what if Star Wars and they are making very good money, as we're gonna see here in a second, you can take this what if format and apply it to any series or any show or any movie that you want. This channel is making $3,000 to $5,000 per month, but you can easily replicate this without too much thinking, without becoming an expert in anything that you like, and make a similar amount of money. Now, for the niche 100, let's take a look at this channel here called Matrix Explained. Again, this is not necessarily about Matrix, but I'm personally a huge fan, and if you are, I would say this is a good channel to watch, not to replicate. Instead, what you could do, you could choose another movie or another TV show and make your own explained channel. This channel is making $2,000 to $3,000 per month consistently from something that is the owner's passion, I'm sure, and you can do the same.
Now, if you're anything like me, you probably cannot wait to pick one of these channel ideas and get started. But before I show you how to build a team of freelancers to get going, there are a few YouTube terms that are crucial for you to know if you are a complete beginner.
If you're looking to start a YouTube automation business, not knowing the following 10 terms can cost you a lot of money. The number one term that I want to talk about is probably the most important, and a lot of people ask about it. It's copyright. This is a major one since with faceless YouTube channels or with YouTube automation channels, we basically don't create the content ourselves. It's not 100% original content. It's not us sitting in front of the camera, recording the content, or going up there and capturing the content with the cameras ourselves. So in one way or another, we are still using somebody else's footage, but there's one smart way to go about it, and there's another way which is not so smart. This can make or break your channel, so I would definitely pay attention. I want to read a definition that YouTube gives us for copyright, which states that creators should not upload videos they didn't make or use content in their videos that someone else owns the copyright to, such as music tracks, snippets, or copyrighted programs, or videos made by other users without necessary authorizations. What that means is that you cannot just take somebody else's work, rip it off, and slam it on your YouTube channel with the goal of making money. This rule right here is the reason why, in my opinion, compilation channels, meditation channels, or motivation channels are not the smart way to go about faceless YouTube channels, because they're on the verge of violating this rule, and as I said, it can really make or break your channel. Now, when I'm saying make or break your channel, what I mean is this: there are 2 ways that copyright can affect you and your channel. Number 1 is you can get a copyright claim, or number 2 is you can get a copyright strike. In most cases, claims are not that bad. Most likely, you will not be able to monetize that video or maybe play segments of the video, and the other part, the person who owns the copyright for the video or for the song, whatever it is, will make all the money. On the other side, if you get a strike, then it's pretty bad, as there are a couple of restrictions that come with it, and if you manage to get 3 strikes, your channel will be shut down. There are a bunch more technical details that you can know about these terms, but the best way to go about it is this. 1, you can get an experienced video editor if you want to delegate and outsource the content that already knows those laws and already knows how to edit videos in a way that makes them not violate any copyright rules, and that will save you all the hassle. However, if you want to make the content yourself, and even if you want to choose to outsource, I highly recommend you take an hour, 2, maybe 3, 4 hours to go to the entire YouTube guidelines to become a little bit more familiar with the entirety of the definitions, and you have at least an idea in the back of your mind
on how to best proceed about this. Now, the second term that I want to mention, and I'm gonna bundle two terms together here, are fair use and Creative Commons. As YouTube describes it, fair use is a legal doctrine that says use of copyright protected material under certain circumstances is allowed without permission from the copyright holder. In simple terms, there are some exceptions in which you can use copyrighted material without the permission of the owner, but in my opinion, I wouldn't go in that area because it can be very subjective and you need to be very, very good at knowing all those rules. I wouldn't try to push the limits. If you're not sure, or if your editor is not sure, just tell them don't use it. Just keep it very friendly because you don't want to deal with restrictions that can, again, cost you a lot of money. Creative Commons has a pretty similar outcome, which is why I decided to bundle them together. Once again, as per their definition, Creative Commons licenses give a standard way for content creators to grant someone else permission to use their work. If you make an original video on YouTube, for example, this one that you're watching right now, you can give other people the license to use clips from it without asking you for permission. And you can go on YouTube and you can look for videos that have that feature turned on, meaning those are YouTubers or content creators or channels, faceless channels can be, that said, hey, the content that I made right here, other people can repurpose and reuse to make their videos, not just copy, paste, upload, and make money with it at their own will without asking for permission. The way I've best navigated those rules and the way I recommend you do it out there, especially if you want to start a YouTube automation business, is to find an experienced video editor and an experienced scriptwriter maybe as well that has edited multiple videos for multiple channels like yours in the past so that they know exactly what's allowed to post, what's not allowed to post. Now, I recommend that you do your minimum due diligence and you read the YouTube terms of service and guidelines at least maybe once a quarter, 6 months, maybe 12 months, or at least once there's a major update. You might want to go through them because they might change things, they might have things. I can tell you that in the last 3 years that I've been running YouTube automation channels and faceless YouTube channels, I haven't had any major problems with copyright, Creative Commons, fair use, or any of that sort because I just used common sense and got experienced people who knew how that stuff works. Now, let's talk a little bit more about performance metrics. And the first one that I want to talk about is impressions. I think most of you kind of understand what impressions are, but I will do it in a chronological way that allows you to see the importance of impressions. To keep it simple, the number of impressions is just the number of times your thumbnails were shown to viewers on YouTube. This doesn't include external views or maybe embeds where your video has been put, but how many times people have seen the thumbnails of your videos on the platform. The reason I consider impressions crucial, views are coming from impressions. We'll see in about a moment when I do this chronological path, but you don't have much control over the number of impressions. Just like you don't really have much control over the number of views that you can get directly saying, oh, I want to get more views, okay, do this. Apart from, you just need to create good quality content that people want to see. There are no specific tricks or gimmicks or positioning things that you can do to directly improve or directly guide or coordinate the number of impressions. This is just the YouTube algorithm showing your thumbnails, showing your videos, and putting them in front of other people that will further decide to click or not click and therefore watch or not watch. I will look at impressions, I look at them from time to time, not every day, but maybe every week, to try to see if YouTube is giving me more or less, which kind of acts as the North Star if I'm going in the right direction with my content and with my videos. It's rarely that I've seen people that go as in-depth as starting to worry about impressions and talk about impressions on a daily basis, especially when it comes to faceless YouTube channels. The next term that I want to talk about, it's called CTR, and it stands for click-through rate. This is what happens chronologically. First, they see your thumbnail, right? You get an impression. Somebody has seen your thumbnail, and the immediate next decision that they need to make is whether they want to click or not click on your thumbnail. And that's what click-through rate is. This measures how often viewers watch the video after seeing an impressions. Now, what's important to know is that although in the impressions definition, they're only speaking about thumbnails, when it comes to CTR, so when it comes to deciding whether people are gonna click on the video or are not gonna click on the video, the thumbnail is no longer the only part that matters. Because if you think about how people get seen a video, they see the thumbnail and they also see the title. And they also, between the two, kind of get the idea. So growing your CTR or improving your CTR, you want to have these two things
in mind. How can I get my thumbnails to be better so I can increase my CTR? How can I get my titles to be better so I can increase my CTR? And sometimes it's something that it's not seen, but it can also be the idea behind the video, the niche that you're in, and all these other things that I don't want to bore you with in this video. If impressions are something that I don't look at every day and want to see, hey, is it down, is it low? CTR is definitely something that I want to have top of mind and is one of the most important metrics that you have when it comes to YouTube, or at least the ones that you can control, because you can change thumbnails, you can change titles, and you can also change the ideas of videos. If you want to have a little bit more control on the performance of your videos, you want to have this metric in mind. Again, very, very important. Now, the next one, which is directly correlated to money, so it's very, very important, it's views. Now, before you click away or skip and say, Raz, we know what a view is, we know what view means, what I think it's important to understand is, once again, where views are chronologically, right? So follow me here. First, you get an impression, right? People get shown your thumbnail. Then they decide, which gives you the CTR, whether they want to click and watch that video. And only then, if they've decided to click, the impression converts into views. So from this journey, you can see that the number of views is highly related to the number of impressions that you get in the first place and the CTR performance that you have. If you have a low CTR, you're gonna get lower views. If you have a high CTR, you're gonna get higher views. This ups the importance of CTR once again. I also want to talk about VPH, which stands for views per hour. This is a little bit more advanced and it's not highly usable, but it's good to look at this metric for once in a while, and it's also good for you to know that it exists and be aware of it. Views per hour shows you how many views that video is getting each and every single hour, which I think is very, very useful, especially if you're doing competitor research. If videos of your competitors are still getting views or are dead, maybe they posted the video a week ago, 1 month ago, maybe 3 months ago, this metric VPH, it allows you to see if that video is still somehow relevant, meaning viewers are still watching it right now as we speak, or in the moment that you're watching at it. It can give you a little bit of an idea whether you should make that video or not. Again, it's not something crucial, but I think I would have it on the radar for sure, VPH. Now let's talk about the monetization of views and the terms that I think you should know when it comes to money and how money is being made on the platform through AdSense revenue. The first one that we're gonna cover here, it's CPM, which stands for cost per mille or cost per thousand. And YouTube describe it as how much advertisers pay every 1,000 times your watch page content is viewed with ads. And in simple, this is how much money advertisers are paying YouTube, the platform, for every 1,000 views that their ads get displayed in front of your viewer. It can go up or down. If 10,000 people see it, it can also change, right? And it's not from 1,000 to 1,000, it actually changes every day, and it changes pretty much with every single person that watches it, because it's a different audience, therefore advertisers are paying YouTube different amounts. But this is not really the most important one you should look at when it comes to money, but the next one is, which is called RPM, which stands for revenue per mille, aka revenue per thousand. Revenue per thousand is pretty similar to cost per thousand, but this one shows how much money you, as the creator, get to keep for every 1,000 views that your video gets and advertisers are putting money on. And to give you the best example, for one of my most popular videos, the full 57-minute tutorial on how to start YouTube automation yourself, you can see right here that my CPM, meaning how much advertisers are paying for that video, is $41.35. But my piece of the pie, aka the RPM, is only $16.81. That's because YouTube has a revenue share and not all of those views were monetizable. So I think it's important that you look at both those metrics. Both CPM and RPM are important metrics to know, but once again, just like in the case of impressions, you can't really do much about it. You can change the niche, you can change the audience, but those are very big, maybe once in a lifetime of a channel, decisions that you make, and on a day-to-day basis, you don't really have direct control over those. But I believe we have a lot of control, a lot of direct control over the next one, which is AVD, or average view duration. Now, it's very hard for me to isolate and say that one of those terms is the most important term or the most important metric that you should know and be aware of, but this is definitely among the top. This is one of the most important, especially because you have a lot of control over. So AVD, average view duration, is the total watch time of your video divided by the total number of video plays, including replays, as per YouTube's official definition. But how I think of it is, for how long have people watched my video on average? What's the average time that a person who clicked on this video watched the video for? If you have a 10-minute video and 10 people watched it, on average, for how long have they watched it? Is it 1 minute? Is it 2 minutes? Is it 3 minutes? Some people might have watched the entire video for 10 minutes and some people might have watched it for 5. Some people might have watched it for 3. But if you combine them all, on average, what does that look like? And then, to make it a little bit more clear, YouTube also gives us the average percentage viewed, which is a percentage of the total video that your audience has watched. So for one of the most popular videos that I have on this channel, the 57-minute tutorial, the video is 57 and 11 minutes long, right? And as of right now, my average duration is 7 minutes and 28 seconds, which comes down to be about 13.1%. Now, what I learned, and it's very important for you to be aware of when you hear people speaking, oh, you need to get 30%, 40%, 50% average percentage viewed, it depends on the length of the video, because although this video only has 13% average percentage viewed, it has a pretty high average duration of 7 minutes and a half. And you can see that it got over 100,000 views in a niche where getting millions of views is not as often. Average duration is a very important metric. You should be aware of it, you should measure it on a daily basis, and you should have it as high as possible. The longer people watch your videos, the better, and you want to monitor it each and every single day with each of your videos to try and see where are people dropping off, where are people stop watching your videos, to try and improve that, improve your videos, and grow the metric. The last metric that we have on today's list, the 10th metric, is something that has recently been introduced, but it really helps me with my methods of doing research, which is called the outlier score. I like vidIQ's definition for this, which is the outlier score allows you to learn if a video is outperforming the channel's average. Let's say you have a channel and you upload 3 videos that each get 100 views, which is very hard to do, by the way. Again, you don't have much control of the views stopping at 100. Your channel average number of views per video is 100 views. If you post a 4th video that gets 500 views, that video now has a 5x outlier score. Now, the reason why I included this metric on today's list is because it quickly became a very easy metric for me to look at when doing competitor research, and it tremendously helps me deciding which videos I want to model, which videos I want to take inspiration from, and which videos I want to avoid. Once you've chosen your niche, it's time to set up your account. You can do this real quick. Just go to youtube.com and sign up using your Google account and putting in some personal details. I recommend you set up a new Gmail address so you keep the business separate from your old personal life, or you have 10,000 emails in the junk folder. Once your YouTube account is created, you'll need to choose a profile picture and a channel cover. Canva, it's a great resource for this because they have a big selection of cover photo templates and customizable logos. So if I want to create a logo for my gaming channel, I can just search for a gaming logo and a bunch of templates will appear. I go ahead, choose one, customize it to my liking, and then I just download it to my computer, upload it to YouTube, and we're done. Same thing with the channel banner or the channel art. Just search YouTube banner or YouTube channel art, customize it, and download it. Finally, we have an about section of your YouTube channel. Some channels don't even bother to do this and they are still making money, so it's not mandatory to do this. But if you want it to look a little bit more professional, just go in there, use ChatGPT to write a good description about the channel niche that you're in and paste that in there. Do not overcomplicate it because this is not gonna make you money. And with that being said, your channel is now fully set up. Next up, you need a team because otherwise it's not YouTube automation. It's just you spending countless hours and learning a bunch of skills to make money on YouTube. And I cannot emphasize on this enough, guys. Putting together a great team is the biggest leverage you can have. It's the most important thing when it comes to YouTube automation. You can have great ideas, but if your team is not up to par and if they're not doing the videos on time, it's not going to be relevant because people do not want to watch content that is bad, they're not interested in, or that has posted months after the thing was relevant. Now, first off, I mostly use Fiverr and Upwork.com when it comes to hiring freelancers. I've tried a lot of other platforms like onlinejobs.ph, 99 Designs, and so on, but I found Fiverr and Upwork to be the best option when it comes to getting the best quality for your dollar. Now, there are 4 steps to making a YouTube video, and you'll need 1 freelancer for each role: scriptwriting, voiceover, editing, and thumbnail design. Let's start with the actual script. You'll need a scriptwriter which will write the narrative for your video. It's most likely going to be a Google Doc or a PDF. Also, thinking in mind that somebody's gonna read that, so they've gotta make it readable. When I first started out with YouTube automation, I made a huge mistake in regards to scriptwriting. Because I didn't know anything about the subject and I wasn't really passionate about writing, I deemed it not to be important. I learned after a couple months of failing that it's actually the foundation of the whole thing. Think about it, the video is built on the script. You can have great editing, great effects, a great voice, and nice visuals, but if what you're talking about is not relevant and people do not really care, or it's not coherent, nothing of that is gonna matter and people are gonna leave just in seconds, leaving you with $0. For scriptwriters, the main thing I care about is experience. If you wanna go in the make money online niche, Ideally, you want somebody who's been there and done that, so you don't need to do research for them. You don't need to QC their work because again, they already know what works, what doesn't, which will save you a lot of time, money, and energy over a long enough time horizon. Also, it would be a great advantage if they're personally interested in the topic. It would be hard for me as a scriptwriter, what I don't like anything about NBA, to compete with someone who's writing scripts and watching all the games, watching Instagram pages about it, watches YouTube videos about it. They just know much more than I do, and I will have to compensate for that with a lot of work, a lot of money, or a lot of time. A good tip here that I get a lot of questions about is that the scriptwriter doesn't have to be native American or native English speaking. I have a lot of scriptwriters from Europe or even Africa, and they're doing an amazing job because they either know English themselves or they're using a bunch of tools to correct their grammar where they're making mistakes. That will also help you with the budget. And to start out, I will definitely hire somebody who's charging $10 per hour or below. The procedure here is pretty simple. Go to Upwork.com, write a job ad looking for a YouTube scriptwriter, and specify that it would be $10 per hour or less. You will soon get a good list of people who are reasonably priced applying for your job. As a rule of thumb, they need to write about 1,500 words for a 10-minute script, which will probably take about 2 hours, so we're looking at anywhere from $20 to $30 for an average mainstream script. Before you hire them, make sure to ask them for previous track record, previous experience of scripts that they have written, and the results that those scripts have generated on YouTube, and make sure that you're very specific on communication and timelines. What time do you expect them to deliver at? Is it a 24 window or a 48-hour window? Is it a 1-week delivery or a 1-day delivery? This is very important because otherwise it's gonna come back at you in the future. I'm just saying this because I've done that mistake so many times. Let's talk about voice actors. Things here are much more straightforward. You can judge somebody's quality of voice just by listening to it. Hiring a voiceover actor is easier than a scriptwriter, and it's pretty straightforward because you can tell how good someone is just by listening to it, and you don't need to be an artist to do that. I'd suggest for this one you go on Fiverr and search up for voiceover artists. I would make sure that you're looking for no agencies and filter by price before DMing several people to work for you. If you're starting out, you can get away with only spending $10 for an entire voiceover for the whole 8 to 10 minute script, and as you get more advanced or budget is higher, you can maybe raise that up to $15 or $20, but I wouldn't really go higher if you do not want to get something very fancy. 2 things to keep in mind when hiring a voiceover actor. First, the tone of their voice. Most of the time, I would go for native people. If you want to make the videos in English, go for a native American. If you want to make the videos in Spanish, go for a native Spanish speaking. Secondly, make sure that I got a good recording equipment. You just gotta make sure their videos do not sound like this. It's a good sign if they have a good mic, soundproofing on their walls, or they're investing in the equipment because it means that they're serious and want to do this for long term, or already have done this for years, which means they're experienced. Thirdly, they have to have a conversational voice. This is something that I didn't know in the beginning, but voiceover acting is not just reading words on a script. It's not reading a piece of paper. It's actually emphasizing on certain words, slowing down when needed, and making sure that you deliver the best results so the viewer stays on for the longest amount of time possible on your video. The easiest way to make sure somebody's voice is good before hiring them is just ask for a sample. Give them a random 2 to 3 minute script and have them read that for you before you hire them so you see if they're a fit for your project. Next thing is the video editing role. After the scriptwriter, the video editor also plays a huge role, and the best video editors are literally geniuses, wizards when it comes to editing because the skill is such complex. The editor has to take the script and audio file from the voiceover actor and craft them into something that keeps viewers hooked for minutes and minutes. That includes assembling the necessary footage, stock footage, social media pictures or screenshots, short clips from movies or songs, and then using transitions, sound effects, and a million other things that all come together. So you need a pre-experienced person, or at least somebody who's very passionate in the beginning stages, to do all this thing. Again, the best way here is to look for experience. If they've edited similar videos to what you want to get done, you are most likely gonna hit a home running. Again, the easiest way here to make sure you have a good video editor is to look at their portfolio. Do they have similar edits to the videos that you want to create? Have they done this for other channels like yours? And then I know this might sound very specific, but it's better to spend a couple more hours in the beginning finding the right person than going for the wrong person, spending time with them, spending money with them, or having to coach them up from the ground when they haven't even done that themselves. The procedure for hiring a video editor is the same as for the scriptwriter. Go to Upwork.com, write a simple job ad, and process the applications as they come in. To start with, you would probably need around $20 to $30 per editing. This is the most expensive part of producing a video because it's very time intensive and it requires a specialized skill. One more thing that I want you to keep in mind when it comes to video editors is you need to make sure that they're aware of the copyright rules. Now, you don't need to worry about all of that, but here's what I tend to do to make sure that my editor knows what he's talking about. I ask my editors to take the files and
and upload them to one random channel of theirs to see if they get any copyright strikes. If the video is good to go, they can send it to me. But if they get copyrighted material, they need to go back, edit the pieces out, and then send the videos for a review. Every time you hire an editor, I recommend you do this for the first 10 or 15 videos, no matter how the experienced person is, so you make sure that they are good. They can use websites like Storyblocks or Envato Elements. They have millions of copyright-free pieces of content that your editor can use. A not so common problem that I've experienced, but I want to share this with you, is their workload. A lot of editors are workaholics and they tend to take too many gigs. They're editing videos for 5 YouTube channels, they're also videographers at 3 weddings per week, and they also are helping their mom and pop business shop with some extra content. Now, that's not bad if they can still deliver your videos on time, but whenever I see such a huge workload, I tend to take a step back and make sure that they can deliver the videos on time and they can create the same quality over and over again. Again, I just thought I might share this with you. The best video editors I've ever worked with are from Eastern Europe. Countries like Romania, Bulgaria, Slovakia, Macedonia, they're literally wizards when it comes to video editing, and you can get the same quality you would get in the US for a fraction of the price. Finally, we have the thumbnail designer. The thumbnail is more important than a lot of people think. Before the person gets to see your script, your voice, or edit, they need to click on the video first. And if the thumbnail is not good enough, they're not gonna click, so everything else becomes irrelevant. The most important thing to keep in mind and look for here is you wanna make sure you don't just get a graphic designer who knows how to do things in Canva or Photoshop. That's not what we're looking for. A thumbnail designer is somebody who has designed thumbnails for YouTube before, knows how to do that, knows how to drag people's attention, knows how to keep people's attention, know what's controversial, knows what can go viral and what not, and you can get all of this for $5 to $10 per piece if you do the right research. You want to look at their portfolio, what channels they've worked with, what are their reviews, all that good stuff, and most likely I tend to hire my thumbnail designers on Fiverr. Now guys, when you're hiring all of these roles, what you want to do is you want to make sure you apply leverage. That's one of my favorite words, and I'm going to show you how you can get a 30 to 40% discount on each of those roles if you know what you're doing and if you do it properly and at the right time. First, you do not need to get discouraged by their initial ask. You can get a video done easily for $40 to $60 in most of the niches, but that's not what the freelancers are going to start quoting you at. The way this works is that most of the freelancers are used to clients who are just one-night stands, meaning they place a small $20 to $30 order and they're gone. There's no long-term relationship or collaboration involved. But that's not the case with us. We want a longer-term deal with a consistent output, which means consistent work for the freelancers. And that's our volume leverage. So let's say a video editor pitches you $50 per video. You can say something like this: listen, I can give you $50 per video now, but in reality, I'll be much more comfortable giving you 30, 35, or 40. The reason is I'm looking to post 3 or 4 videos per week for the next coming months, which will give both you and me a consistent flow, a consistent relationship, and in the end, you're gonna make much more money by working with me for the long term than charging me $50 now and then me not being able to pay you that in the future. They will understand that a long-term relationship, collaboration, and lowering their prices now will also give them a huge advantage and make more money in the long term. Now keep in mind, I'm not saying everybody's gonna take this offer. 50% of them are probably not even gonna reply. Another 50% of them are not gonna be interested. But if you do this with enough people on a larger scale, you will definitely get good talent at discounted prices. Okay guys, so now that you know how to assemble your team of a scriptwriter, voiceover, video editor, thumbnail designer, you might be thinking, Ross, can I just hire an executive assistant or a personal assistant to manage this whole thing for me, or a social media manager? Maybe you've seen somebody on Fiverr or Upwork.com telling you that they're gonna manage the entire production for you, they're a one-man show, and they can do everything for you for a cheap dollar. In my opinion, this is a very bad idea. I've been there and done that, and let me tell you why. In 99% of the cases, the person offering that service is most likely a middleman, and this makes me do the following. Spend more money because I now have to pay for his cuts as well, have less quality control, so less control over the production, less training options. I cannot talk to the freelancers directly and tell them what I want changed, how I want them to improve. I build no relationship with the team, which in the long term is very valuable, and I'm very vulnerable if the person leaves. If they leave, I'm back at zero and the channel needs to stop until I put together an entire team or find a person just like that. Whereas having 4 individual people who each do their role, one leaves, it's okay, we still have 3, I only need to replace one person. It's very unlikely that all 4 people are gonna leave in the same time. So hope that makes sense, guys. I do not recommend hiring a one-man show or a production agency or whatever, because you don't want to be dependent on them, and this stuff doesn't really take much time to build. You can get it done in less than 2 weeks if you only put 5 or 6 hours per week into this. Now, you will be outsourcing the entire production of the video, but you still need to know a little bit about what's going on and what makes a good video and what doesn't make a good video. So now I'm gonna walk you through what you need to look at and what you need to pay attention when it comes to the production of the videos. And here, I don't need you to do the work, but I want you to pay very, very close attention to the script, the thumbnail, and then make sure to come up with a very good title for the video. As I've said, getting your thumbnails on point is very, very important. Even if your content is top-notch, if the thumbnail doesn't do the work, if it's not attractive, the video will not get traction, therefore you will not make any money. Your thumbnail's main purpose is to grab the viewer attention. You want it to be a scroll stopper. Everybody's busy scrolling from video to video to video. When they see yours, you want them to stop, think for a second, like, what is this? Let me check it out, let me explore. And that's how you know you have a good thumbnail, if people stop and then click on it to watch your video. Here are a few tips to make your thumbnail stand out. Tell a story. A lot of great thumbnails tell a story using the image. A snapshot of what will happen in the video will create a story in the viewer's mind. It's like, oh, this video about this, I am about to see this, and that anticipation that you create right there will make people click. This might sound obvious, but you gotta make sure that you have a high resolution thumbnail. A poor quality of thumbnail is indicative to the viewer that your video is also low quality, and in today's day and age, you need to have the best quality if you want to stay competitive. And lastly, flashes of color. The human eye is very attracted to colors that are contrasting to each other and will make the thumbnail pop. Try to keep things colorful and avoid simple thumbnails. Now again, what I recommend you do here is you look at your competitors. Do they have text-only thumbnails or they include graphics? Do they only use black and white or colorful thumbnails? Do they have one-side thumbnails or two-sided ones? Do they use celebrities in their thumbnails? What language are they using? The more you pay attention to this stuff, the easier for you it's gonna be to QC your thumbnail designer's work. But again, if you get an experienced person from the beginning, you might not even need to do all of this. The titles are the second half of the pitch to your viewer. You are saying, watch this video, not the other 20 that are next to it. Here are my top pieces of advice when it comes to coming up with good titles. Use language your viewers can understand as a glance. How this business made $1 million is better than how this business grew to $1 million ARR. Keep it simple. Make it relevant to the here and now. This is why titles like How to Build a Business in 2023 often do well, because people can see that it's relevant and up to date with the current situation. Promise value. How-to titles are great examples of promising value. They tell the viewer that this video is going to give them all the necessary information to do a specific thing. How to start a YouTube channel. How to make money with YouTube automation. You got the point. Promise to reveal secrets. This often works well to build intrigue with titles like 10 things you won't believe about X. And lastly, avoid total clickbait. Tempting people is one thing, but saying something that is completely not true and will not happen in your video at all will turn people down and they'll never most likely return to your channel, so make sure you don't do that. Don't get it crazy. One more thing you can do here, because you have a lot of people involved in the process, like the scriptwriter, the voiceover actor, and the video editor, you can ask them like, hey guys, if you have any ideas for thumbnail designers, Joe, our thumbnail designer, might use them as well. So you can basically get everybody to contribute and give ideas for the thumbnails because they're very, very important, again, so you don't have to. Now, I quickly want to go over scripting tips as well because there's a lot to cover, but I'll quickly summarize it. First, you want to start each video with a hook. You want to make sure you look at your competitors and you see how long is their hook. Is it 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds? And what do they do? Here are a couple examples. They can be sharing a fact, like almost half of the Americans don't have enough money saved for an emergency. I know this is pretty bad, but it's a hook. I used to struggle with losing weight, but now I finally cracked the code. Here's what I did. They could be giving a tip right from the start. Most people don't know this, but budgeting is the best way to save money for the future. Secondly, you want to provide either educational value or entertainment value to your viewer through the video. Those are very high-level concepts that you do not necessarily need to master in the beginning, but I'm giving them right here because this is a complete step-by-step in-depth guide, so make sure to stay until the end. What I'm saying here is that you don't want your content to be meh or not interesting at all. It should stand out in terms of quality and you should have people want to watch it so they always come back for it. Now, the way you do this is you don't make the content yourself, you don't get crazy, and you spend a lot of time and a lot of hours trying to make content better, but instead you keep a good feedback loop with your team and you look at what comments have to say on YouTube. Do people watch it? Do people like it? Do people not like it? Again, at the end of the day, you are the channel owner, not the person who's creating the videos. But still, you want to have a feedback loop, you want to know what's going on. My last point about scripting, guys, is call to actions. I see a lot of people who get call to actions completely wrong. And by the way, I've done a couple call to actions in this video already. I asked you to subscribe, leave a comment, and stay until the end. Those are the call to actions, but if you probably haven't noticed them, it means I'm doing a pretty good job. You gotta make sure your scriptwriter has subtle call to action and doesn't ask people to do something every 10 seconds.
hey, by the way, make sure to subscribe. And if you like the video, make sure to leave a comment. And then if you stay until the end, I'll give you this. And then also if you come back, we'll also get this. Like, that's too much. That's abusive. And that will drag your average view duration down, meaning people will get tired of it and will not want to watch your videos. Instead, what I recommend you do, or tell your scriptwriter to do, is only place 2 to 3 call to actions throughout the video. One in the beginning, one in the middle, and one in the end. And bonus tip right here, which you've probably noticed that I do with all of my videos, and I'll do with this one included, the call to action at the end is not to subscribe, like, or comment, but it's just to watch another video so you keep the viewer in the feedback loop. Now let's cover something that's gonna be more interesting for you, especially if you don't wanna do any of the scripting, voice acting, editing, or thumbnail design yourself. This is gonna be for you. This is where you manage the channel and you are only the channel owner. Again, I just wanted to give you a little bit more advanced tips so you know how to handle all the situations if you wanna get involved in the content creation process. But if you don't wanna do any of that, then this is for you. By now, you probably understand what to look for, what exactly to tell your team, how to hire your team, how to put them together, how to find a niche. But here's the trickiest part. Management is one thing that I overlooked for so long. I didn't think people need to be kept accountable, people need to be given instruction, people need praise, and all that stuff. And in reality, that makes a night and day difference. Again, the team is 80% of this business, guys, so make sure you treat your team right. Let me give you a short version of what I called my freelance management philosophy. The first thing you need to do after you got your team on lock is to manage expectations. You gotta make sure there are no misunderstandings and everybody is on the same page if you want your team to work smoothly. Here you can cover things like how is the payment being handled. Most freelancers will be very direct and upfront and will ask you from the beginning, but others are a little bit more loose. What you don't want to do is get to the payday where you need to pay everybody and realize that they wanted to be paid in crypto, but you do not have a crypto account. That happened to me, by the way. Instead, what you need to do is you have a one-on-one private conversation with everybody in private about how they would like to do payments and what type of payment methods do you offer. Also, I like paying everybody at the end of the month. And I recommend that you state this. You do not ask about it. It's like, hey, when would you like to get paid? It's like, no. Here, we handle payments at the end of every month. Simply state how things are being done and most people will not even care about it because they said, oh, I guess this is just how we do it. So I'll just get in line and follow what you just said because this might be the right way. And it really is. You definitely don't want to pay somebody on the 5th, somebody on the 4th, somebody at the beginning of the month, somebody at the end of the month. That will just add to your plate. And again, we only want to do this as the channel managers, channel owners with the least amount of time possible. And this will definitely save you a lot of time. The way this works is very simple. If I'm a video editor and I've edited 4 videos in the month of May, I will get paid on the last day of May for those videos. Now, if somebody has something against that, what you can do to build a little bit of relationship is pay them for 2 or 3 or 5 videos in advance so you can build the trust. And about building trust, this is also very important. You need trust to make this work. Another great tip when it comes to payments is paying everybody using the same payment method. That can be PayPal, crypto, bank transfer, card, whatever, but I would recommend you pay them outside of Fiverr or Upwork so you avoid the fees. Also, how is communication being handled? It's very important to set the tone from the beginning that you keep communication in one place. Again, this is gonna save you hours and hours and hours. Make sure to set up a Slack channel, Discord channel, WhatsApp group, Messenger group, whatever it is. Just make sure you have everybody in the same place and you do not have them messaging you on Fiverr or on Upwork, your personal phone number, they call you. No, simply do not engage in any communication that's outside the channel. And if you do this correctly and if you state it from the beginning, people will understand and you'll have such a smooth collaboration. A critical question is how fast should the videos be delivered? I've been following a simple rule for all my content creation teams for about 2 years and it's working like clockwork. What I simply do is I add the content ideas on every Saturday. So every Saturday I go, do the research, add 2, 3, 4, 5 ideas, how many videos I want to create that following week, and I put them in the board. Once I do that, I notify my team that all those video ideas are due by next Sunday. So they basically have 8 days. They have a span of 8 days in which they need to work together. Now with me, I'm not a babysitter, in which they need to take the script, the voice file, the video, and the thumbnail, put them together, and somebody is responsible to delivering them by next Sunday. If the team has already agreed that they can do the bandwidth that you want, either 2 videos a week, 3 videos a week, 4 videos a week, asking them to work with each other, it's actually going to be a good thing because again, being a freelancer is pretty lonely. They usually have one-night stand projects with people who do not care about them. So now being part of a team and being able to collaborate and work with other freelancers is going to be a big plus for your channel. The only caveat to this, if you are in a time-sensitive niche like celebrities or news, for example. If something is about to pop every single minute, you want to make sure that you have content being done faster than weekly. And again, the way you do this is just you address it. You gotta set expectations. Hey guys, there might be times where we need something done in 72 hours or 42 hours. Can I please have your consent that you are gonna do your best to get those videos done? I might pay you $1, $2, 10%, 20% extra for those videos if you really wanna be generous. But again, if you just state the expectations from the beginning, people will just agree, or if they don't agree, you just need to find somebody else. Lastly, revisions. We haven't really discussed this much because I'm not a fan, but on platforms like Fiverr or Upwork, when it comes to big freelancer projects, people would want a revision for changing the color or changing the font or changing the wording. And again, I'm not a big time because I don't want to spend my time with those tiny details. So the way I handle this with my freelancer teams is that, again, we have a meeting in the beginning where we all agree that we will only do revisions if something big or major needs to be changed, but I'll be very picky in the beginning when it comes to the quality of the videos. So for the first 5 or 10 videos, I will be that picky client. I would say, hey, change the color of this, change the font of this, change that, which will basically set the tone of like, oh, Raz is very picky. He wants the videos done in this way. We better do them this way because otherwise he's gonna ask for a revision again. Now, I want to emphasize on this a lot because it seems like we're asking a lot for the freelancers, but this is just normal. This is just rules of collaboration, and this is stuff that they are used to as well, or A players are used to as well, because otherwise you'll be caught up each and every single day on Slack, on WhatsApp, on Messenger, whatever it is, with the tiniest details. Instead, what I'm doing, which is making it sound like a lot of work, is stating them from the beginning. Hey, we need this, 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 and this. Do you understand? Do you want to emphasize more on it? Do you want to go more in it? Do you want me to remind it to you? Do you want me to not remind? Do you want to talk about this? Do you not want to talk about this? Again, it's just setting the guidelines of how you want things done from the beginning will probably save you tens, if not hundreds of hours over the long enough time horizon. And again, do not get scared of this. It's not going to take a lot of time. Nobody's going to die. People are not going to leave because of this. But on the other hand, I've had only positive experience where they said, Raz, I've never worked with such an organized channel. I've never worked with such an organized business. And as I mentioned in the beginning, guys, I'm not a very good creative. I've gotten success with YouTube automation because of this. This is my bread and butter. Being a good manager, being a good leader, being a good business person can take you much farther than being an artistic, creative person can get you. You actually need both. But again, if you get a team of content creators to do this for you, you can get away with it. You just need to make sure that you are a good manager and you do it in a timely manner where, again, you do this on the side of your job, on the side of your business, or just as a passive income stream. Now, here are a couple crucial things that you can keep in mind when asking for revisions. Here's what I would ask and what I would not ask for when it comes to revisions. If the background music is too loud or too low, I would ask for the revision because this is critical to the quality of the video. If the background music is not matching the vibe or the niche, I would definitely ask because, again, you don't want elevator music when things are very intense. The low quality of footage or inappropriate footage is definitely a big red flag, so I would ask for a revision. But as I said, for a different color or font, which might be just my personal preferences, I would not ask and I would not bother them for it. For a different style of transitions or animations, I would also not ask as long as the job gets done, because all we care about is the average view duration, which is the viewer's duration on the video, which is not like how much do I like the video, is how good the video is, which is hard to be objective about because we are subjective human beings. But again, you got to take a step back and really assess the video and say, hey, is it worth having this person go back, edit it for 30 minutes, me review it again? Is it really going to make a difference? Now you got a point. You got to make sure you fix the big problems and then you are not so picky when it comes to the details, because revisions are not a sexy word, are not a sexy thing, and people do not really like being bothered like, hey, change this, change that, and that will most likely result in you having a higher churn, more people leaving your team than staying if you are very, very picky when it comes to this. And instead, again, just make sure you set expectations from the beginning and you're gonna have no problem with it. Now we've set the expectations with our team, we need to find out a system or a management tool that would allow us to keep everything in one place so we don't have files and video files flying around. The golden rule here is that you are not the middleman. You are not supposed to be the one who takes the script, sends it to the voice, takes the voice file, sends it to the edit, sends the edit, sends it to the thumbnail person to review, takes that, uploads it to YouTube. You should not be doing that, but instead you should be using or building a very, very good, robust system from the get-go that would allow you to get out of the day-to-day of menial things like this. The way I have it set up, I clearly communicate with my team that, again, the deadline is on Sunday, so they need to pass files to each other and notify each other. They must say, hey Alex, the voiceover guy, the script is ready, you can start doing your job. Alex then goes to the video editor and says, hey editor, I've done the voice file, here's the script, you need to do this, you need to edit it, do you need any help from us, right? You create this small micro team, you create this micro collaboration in between them, which they will appreciate because it gives them a sense of being a part of something, rather than just being, hey, I need a script, okay, here it is, bye. Hey, I need a voice, okay, here it is, bye. Right? Or here's the money, here's the money, here's the money. You want them to feel like they're part of something, which will eventually lead to them staying with you more. If you want to go more in depth and you're far picky about this, you need to talk to your team about the video formats, right? About the file formats. For example, what format should the script be? What format should the audio file be? What format should the video file be? What format should the thumbnail be? Personally, I do not care about this stuff. I just gotta make sure that they can use it one with each other and it works cross software. I've never had this discussion, but as I've worked with 3,000 people, this question has come up, so I wanted to mention with it. Now guys, if you've stayed until this point, I definitely want to congratulate you and I want to have a bonus for you. I got to show you my software management tool that I use and the way I use it to keep my team managed, to make sure everything is organized, and to make sure I only spend less than an hour per week revising all of this. I know this might sound insane, but if you pay attention to what I'm going to show you right now, you'll understand how that is possible. Here are the basics of my Trello setup. First, we have a Kanban board here that the whole team has access to. Different videos move along the board as they're worked on, going from needs script to needs voiceover to needs editing, etc., all the way to success when we've uploaded a video and it worked out okay. The board is also connected to Dropbox, which I find better than Google Drive, partly because it has more Trello integration options. This will let us store big MP4 files for editing, scripts, PDFs, and voiceover MP3 recordings. Then you just share the link to this board with everybody who's in your team and they'll have access to all the videos with statuses inside the Dropbox. They'll keep track of their work and they'll upload or download files whenever they need. You can create a new video idea by writing in a new card, and this will also let you insert links to similar videos. You can also tag team members, see the thumbnail, and loads of other useful stuff just to give your team as much data as possible so they can do a good job. At the end of the day, guys, this is just a project management software and I would love for you to take this and be able to implement it in your YouTube automation business. But if you want to choose something else, here are a couple options. I've also heard and used Asana, Monday.com, and there are plenty of other softwares who do exactly this, but if you are a beginner on a budget, Trello is the way to go. Alright, so the last thing that I want to talk about when it comes to managing your team, guys, is building a real connection. Most of the content creators are most likely used to one-night stands and single transactions, as we have discussed. Nobody really asks them about how they are, how is their day going, sends them gift cards, maybe small gifts, remind about their birthday, and trust me, this goes a long way. Simply sending them a Christmas card, a small $10 to $20 gift card, or a book they talk about, anything really that shows them that you're happy to invest in the relationship, can work wonders when it comes to getting great work and keeping the relationship alive.
And look, the YouTube space, and the Faceless YouTube space as well, is evolving every single year, of course. But the good thing is that the cost of getting started with Faceless YouTube channels is now lower than ever.
The biggest game changer has been the boom of AI. It has finally reached a point where there are so many tools you are bound to find the perfect one for your needs. It can basically handle almost everything for you, and I'm not talking in a few months. This is happening right now. Like, think about it for a second. Just a few years ago, if you wanted to start a brand new YouTube channel, you needed to learn video editing, thumbnail design, script writing, voice recording, the list goes on, right? And most couldn't learn it because, let's be real, video editing or writing great scripts isn't essentially something you can pick up overnight. This was the reason why tons of people who started their channels with really high hopes got instantly overwhelmed and just quit. And yeah, you could outsource these services to freelancers, which is still a great option, but the truth is, you'd still need to invest a couple hundred to maybe a few $1,000s. And with AI helping with scripts and voiceovers, you have more flexibility in how you want to build your production process. You've got screenwriting tools that help you with the hardest part, the writing. I'm talking hooks, retention elements, the whole thing. You've got AI generated thumbnail tools that help you create professional designs in just seconds, and the foundation is all there now. But here's where it gets crazy. Your voiceover, there are AI voice clones that sound so realistic you genuinely can't tell the difference. Now let me break down the exact tools that are changing the game, because there are a lot of them out there, but not all of them actually work for YouTube creators or faceless YouTube channels. For scripts, I'm talking about tools like Claude and Poppy AI, but here's the thing, you cannot just say, hey, write me a YouTube script. You need to give it the right prompt and, more importantly, the right context. I tell it exactly what hook hook style to use, what retention techniques to include, and even what tone to write in. And this is very important. For voiceovers, tools like 11 Labs are insanely powerful. You can clone your own voice with 30 seconds of audio, or even choose out of thousands of professional voices already available on there. The quality is so good now that most people won't even be able to tell that it's AI. For thumbnails, Midjourney and DALL-E are amazing options creating professional design concepts, which you can polish with some basic Canva skills. For video editing though, you'll still need to learn those skills yourself or work with a very good editor, because the crazy part is all these tools combined are more cost effective than traditional methods when you're starting out. And don't get me wrong, freelancers are still great, and eventually you want to be building a team or even multiple to scale, but AI just gives you more options. You can either learn to do things yourself with AI assistant to get started, or work with more freelancers to be more efficient. So AI tools are great and they make our lives easier, but there is still a huge issue, and that is why I see most creators who try using AI fail. Most people still don't know how to use these tools properly, and I'll talk more about that in just a second. But first, let me tell you another reason why blowing up on YouTube is easier than ever right now. For the first time ever, we have actual proven playbooks that work. You know, back in the day, growing on YouTube was basically like throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that something will stick. You had to figure out everything through trial and error, and most people never made it past 1,000 subscribers before because they had no clue what they were doing. But now, the playbook is out there. We know exactly what type of content performs well. We know the hook formulas that get people to click and stick. We know the retention strategies that keep people watching. And YouTube's recent Culture and Trends report has literally given us the cheat sheet to what actually works. The CEO of YouTube, Neil Mohan, said in an interview that YouTube's algorithm suggests content based on the interest of the viewers. So this means that if you identify the right interest of your audience and tap into that niche, fill the void, create valuable content, YouTube will have no choice but to push your content to these viewers. But that's just one example. Take Faceless channels as another one. There are virtually thousands of templates you can follow. You can see a Faceless channel in any niche, analyze exactly what they're doing, and basically copy and paste their entire strategy with your own twist. And here's the best part, the strategies that only the top 1% of creators knew, they're literally sharing them in detailed tutorials right now. Honestly, I wish I had access to this information when I first got started. But now you might be thinking, wait a minute, Raz, if all this information is more accessible than ever, why isn't every creator getting hundreds of thousands of views and subscribers? Well, there's a very simple explanation behind it. Maybe you've watched YouTube tutorials for months and never uploaded anything. Maybe you started editing a video but gave up halfway through. Or maybe you think you need to be naturally charismatic or go viral by accident. And if that sounds like you, you're exactly who this is for. Here's the thing that most people don't get. The barrier to entry is lower than ever before. And that's exactly the opportunity that we're talking about here. It's not about knowing how to edit or not having good equipment. The biggest barrier is mindset. Most people are still stuck in the old mindset where they think YouTube success is some kind of lottery. They think you need to be charismatic or you need to go viral by accident or have some sort of special niche. That's completely wrong, because trust me, you don't have to be Mr. Beast or Kai Cenat to blow up on YouTube. YouTube success is like following a recipe. You follow step A, then step B, then step C, and if you do it right, you can get predictable results. And of course, these results aren't guaranteed, just like everything else in life, but taking the first step is what differentiates a channel that has the potential to blow up and a channel that won't upload a single video. And look, people naturally get overwhelmed by all the possibilities. They see these AI tools and they think, I don't know which one to use. They see all these strategies and I think, I don't know where to start. So either they never start or they start and give up after 2 weeks because they don't see immediate results. Now let's talk about the fun part, coming up with video ideas, how to find money-making video ideas. Look, you can have great video execution, great thumbnail and all of that, but if your idea is bad, all the work is pointless, so this is crucial. Now, before I tell you how to come up with good ideas, I want to tell you how not to do it, which is probably the biggest mistake I see beginners make. Do not come up with ideas by thinking about them or using your plain imagination. You actually don't need to be the one coming up or inventing the ideas. The ideas are already out there, your job is to find them. Instead, most of the ideas that we will come up with are gonna be simply based on research. My favorite way and the best way to do it, in my opinion, is to model outlier videos. It's simple, most straightforward, and has yielded me the best results over the last couple of years. Now, here's what I mean. You can see the channel right here, Chelsea Library, had around 7,000 subscribers at the time of me taking this screenshot. The quality is decent, good, but not great, and yet one of their videos has over 340,000 views. Now think about that for a second, 7,000 subscribers, 340,000 views 3 weeks ago. That's a massive outlier. This is the perfect representation of what an outlier video looks like, and that right there is the perfect video idea for you.
If you have a football channel, you can take that idea, modeling, meaning make a similar video to it, not just replicate that one, and boom, there you have it. Now here's another example to drive this point home. This vintage American channel currently has 6,800 subscribers, yet their most popular video is currently sitting at over 500,000 views. 6,800 subscribers, 530,000 views 1 month ago, massive outlier once again. And you can do this type of research manually simply by using Google and the vidIQ Chrome extension, which allows you to see the outlier score shown next to the videos. Or you can use a dedicated tool like 1 of 10, which is designed to help you find better video ideas.
Now guys, the final part of this complete training is how do we actually make money with this? We got a niche, we got a videos, we got a team, we're uploading them, we're managing them. What about the money, Raz? Now here's my 4-step system to make sure that you're squeezing as much as possible of your channel's potential without breaking the channel. At the top level, we have the massive way of monetizing your channel, which is YouTube AdSense. A couple things that we already discussed, but I would like to recap here is you need to keep in mind the RPM. Like we've already said, this comes from the ads shown before or during your videos, and it's the biggest net because it catches everyone except for YouTube Premium members who have paid to avoid ads. Your AdSense revenue is described as RPM or revenue per mille, and this is roughly how much you get paid every time your video gets 1,000 views. And lastly, for you to start earning YouTube AdSense revenue, you need to get at least 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time in the last 365 days. After that, you can apply for the YouTube Partner Program, get accepted, and some people can hit that target in less than 48 hours, but usually it takes up to 3 days. The next level is a little bit less passive, but basically requires no work at all. One of the big ones here is affiliate marketing. This is an easy way to make money, and where all you need to do is to find affiliate links that will let you earn a commission on the sales made. For example, you can easily sign up for the Amazon affiliate program and generate referral links for the best-selling products related to your video. Then, all you need to do is take the link, add it to your video, and watch the money hit your account. Keep in mind, this is just the surface level explanation. Another extremely passive way of monetizing your videos is CPA marketing. CPA stands for cost per action. You refer someone to a website and get paid a few dollars every time one of the people who click on your website signs up for their email's newsletter. Affiliate marketing and CPA marketing are both insanely good ways to make money. Just add the links and wait for the money to hit your account, but I wouldn't really recommend you start working on this or worrying about this or even learning about this until you have a good income stream coming for your AdSense. Because if you don't have enough traffic, affiliate marketing or affiliate CPA won't work. The third level is brand deals or sponsorships. Brands will pay you to mention them in your videos. It could be a 10-second mention or longer. All you need to do is negotiate the deal. This can take more time, but you should start by researching what other creators in your niche are getting paid for sponsorships. Either talk to them or find someone talking about that publicly. That will give you an idea about how much you should charge and what kind of promotion the brand is expecting in return. Once you understand the market and the value of your channel, you can start reaching out to potential brands to attract leads yourself, not just wait for them to reach out to you. And finally, the last and the fourth layer of monetizing, which is a little bit more advanced, which is for the raving fans, it's selling your own products. For this, you really need to have a pretty decent audience and they need to be really engaged with your channel, because keep in mind, it's much harder to buy from a brand that doesn't have a face attached to it than it is to buy a creator that you love. But if you can pull it off, it can be quite passive. So first, we have print on demand. Sites like Printful or Printify will let you upload your designs and they do all the legwork. All you need to do is direct traffic to them. For example, if you have a channel about cars, you can have a Printful store with designs based on your niche. People will then go buy your products and you get a cut of the profit. Secondly, you can sell your own digital products. With digital products, there's no limit to what you can create. For example, you can have ebooks, online courses, softwares, and apps. It's up to you to decide whether you want to go into one way or another, but again, I would like to mention, I really wouldn't focus about this in the beginning. First, keep the main thing. Get your channel to $5,000, maybe $10,000 per month, and only then go and explore those options. You also have exclusive memberships, which I've actually seen some channels do really well with. Now guys, these 4 levels of monetization will allow you to make sure that you're getting as much money as possible after the hard work that you've put in with your team.
At this point, you have the complete blueprint to build your own Faceless YouTube channel in a profitable niche, build an A-level team of freelancers to create your content, find money-making video ideas using a proven system, and most importantly, how to monetize your channel. And if this all feels overwhelming, that's completely fine. You don't need to get everything right from the start. Just the fact that you watch this training up until this point for probably more than 2 hours sets you apart from 99% of the people. And for that reason, I decided to include a bonus segment for you in this free guide to show you what's possible when you put one foot in front of the other. This is the result I got applying the same tactics that I shared with you today.
This YouTube channel right here got monetized in 45 days, and within the first year, it made me more than $100,000. Now, this isn't my first rodeo. I've built multiple six-figure YouTube channels over the last couple of years, and I've helped thousands of other people do the same thing. But with this particular channel, I documented everything from start to finish. From me finding the niche, to hiring the team, to selling the channel for over six-figure just 12 months after launching it. So today, I'm going to show you the 6-step system that I use to successfully scale that Faceless YouTube channel so you can use it for yourself. It all begins with step 1, niche research and validation. You see, most people mess this up because they pick a niche based on what they're passionate about instead of picking based on what actually makes money. Instead, what you want to do is find a niche with proven demand where existing creators are doing a poor job with the execution. To do this, I use a 3-step validation process. First, look for 2 to 3 competitors getting decent views but with terrible production quality. You want to find channels pulling in 300,000, 500,000, even 1 million views per month, but their thumbnails look like they were made in paint. For example, when I was researching vintage vehicles, I found this channel right here getting 500,000 views per month, but their quality was poor compared to what I knew I could produce. Second, you want to find niches that are new to YouTube, but that have decades of offline experience. You want to find passionate communities that exist already outside of YouTube, but aren't well served by quality content creators or quality faceless channels. With vintage vehicles, people spend entire weekends at car shows, and there are massive collector communities, but when I did my research, there was almost no quality faceless channel on YouTube at the time. And third, run them through my validation checklist. Ask yourself 3 questions. Is there existing proof of demand? Can I execute significantly better than the current players? And do I have concrete ways to improve what's currently being done? Now, if you're thinking, but what about building a channel around my passion? That's a great question, but in my opinion, you don't necessarily need to be passionate about your niche. You see, I wasn't a car guy at all. I didn't even have a car when I started the vintage vehicles channel. What matters most is market opportunity, and only then comes personal interest. If the niche that you're researching doesn't meet even one of these 3 criteria, let it go and just look for another niche. And it might take a while to find a good one, but this is one of the most important steps of the whole process, so you need to get it right. I went to probably 15 different niches before I landed on vintage vehicles, because once you go to the 3-step validation process, it's time to research your competitors systematically. Spend 2 to 3 hours mapping their most successful videos, identifying content gaps, and noting where their current production is week. For my channel, I analyzed Top Cars TV, Bladed Angel, and this channel right here. Top Cars TV had great editing but inconsistent uploads. Bladed Angel had views but inconsistent thumbnails, and Q Muscle Cars had decent packaging but poor scripts. The key insight you need to understand here is to look for proven niches where you can execute significantly than the current players. Do not look for empty niches. Empty niches are empty for a reason, usually because there's no money there. Again, when the data shows you your original niche idea is not going to work, research another one until you find one that meets all of your criteria, and then you'll know you found a good one. Now that you've analyzed your niche and analyzed the competition, there's something critical you need to do before you even think about setting up your channel. You see, most people spend weeks perfecting their channel setup, creating the perfect logo, writing descriptions, and then they realize they cannot actually create the content that they envision. And this is why the second step in my process is to build your team. I hire my team first because your content quality determines everything. Your logo doesn't, your channel banner doesn't, but the people creating your videos definitely do. And here you also have 3 ways to approach building your content creation process. First, the DIY method is where you do everything yourself: the scripts, the voiceovers, the editing, and the thumbnails. This works if you have more time than money, but it's going to take you forever to scale. The second way is the full automation method, where you outsource 100% of the work to freelancers online on platforms like Fiverr or Upwork.com. And for a 10 to 12 minute video, you are looking at paying anywhere from $50 to $150 when you factor in the scriptwriters, the voice actors, the video editors, and the thumbnail designers. But the third way is the hybrid method. It combines the best AI tools available today with selective human expertise. You see, instead of doing everything yourself or outsourcing everything to freelancers, you can use AI to handle the tasks that it's actually pretty good at, like script outlines, voice generation, and thumbnail concepts, and you bring in humans only where they add the most value. And this approach gives you the best of both worlds: significant cost savings and speed while maintaining the quality you need need to actually make money with this business model. Now, if I were starting a brand new channel today, I would go with the hybrid method. Here, I would use AI to research faster, but not to avoid research. I would use AI to write the outlines faster, but not to avoid writing. And I would use AI overall to just help me speed up the content production process, but not as a replacement for creating, because that is not gonna end up well. But actually, let me show you exactly how I would do it in practice. For scripts, instead of paying $20 to $40 per script, you can use AI tools like Claude, Poppy AI, or Subscribers to write pretty damn good scripts yourself. But of course, you cannot just use prompts like write me a YouTube script. You need to give these tools the right prompts and the right context. I tell AI exactly what hook style to use, what retention techniques to include, and what tone of voice to write in. And with that, in about an hour per day, I think you can easily handle this yourself and save hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars per month. Now for voiceovers, this is where I think AI really shines. I think tools like 11 Labs let you clone your own voice or choose from thousands of professional voices for incredibly cheap. If you're on a budget, you can start on their free plan, and honestly, most people won't be able to tell the difference between the AI voices and real voice actors anymore. The quality has gotten that good. Now for thumbnails, AI tools like Midjourney, DALL-E, or more specialized tools like Pixels can create professional design concepts in just minutes. You might need to polish them up a little bit or add some text in Canva's pre-plan, but you're talking about work that used to take designers hours, and you can now do it yourself in less than 30 minutes. But when it comes to video editing, I still recommend hiring someone, because while there definitely are AI tools that can animate images or make editing simpler, they're not quite yet there for the quality that you need to generate views and get consistent money. Video editing is still where human skill makes the biggest difference. Regardless of that, if you decide to hire freelancers for any of those roles, here's my exact process. To hire scriptwriters, post on Upwork with the same exact template. We are looking for mobile people experienced in writing YouTube scripts for faceless YouTube channels in the niche. If you are a niche enthusiast, this is for you. I always like to say that I'm looking for more people because I find this to expand the applicant pool. And it's also a good idea to include competitor example videos in your post. Say you're looking to create content similar to and link the successful channels you analyze during your competition research. Now, once you have your scriptwriter applicants coming in, it's time to test them. Ask for a sample and be okay to pay if needed. Now, if you're in a tight budget, you can reach out to usually, let's say, 100 people, and about 10 of them will do free samples, but the quality is often better when you can compensate for them. Do not look for perfection, but look for someone who understands the audience and can write so that the viewers stay glued to the video. When I tested scriptwriters for vintage vehicles, the winner wrote scripts that started like, imagine yourself transported back to a golden era of cars. And that showed me that she understands how to create that nostalgic feeling that my audience wanted. When it comes to video editors, look for people who can handle 20-minute videos with retention hooks every 3 to 4 minutes, because the algorithm currently loves long-form content if people actually watch it. You want to budget around $1.5 to $3 per minute of edited content. Now, when hiring thumbnail designers, this is where you can start cheaper and upgrade later, or better yet, use AI to handle this yourself. You can begin with someone who can create a consistent style, then it reinvests more into this as your channel grows. And an overarching rule, guys, when it comes to hiring people, focus on portfolio quality over price. Yes, you will pay a little bit more upfront for human team members, but quality people pay for themselves relatively quickly. For example, I started paying $25 and eventually $30 when other people were just charging $15, but my initial scriptwriter generated content that consistently got more than 50,000 or 100,000 views per video, and I quickly make my money back. And a pro tip here, always hire one key person first, then always ask them if they know anyone else in the space, because networks matter more than individual skill. My scriptwriter introduced me to an editor, and then the editor introduced me to a thumbnail designer later on, because finding your best people could take time and a little bit of trial and error, but never wait for the perfect team before you start executing. You want to build while you create. Now, once you got your team locked in, now it's the time to set up the foundation that's going to make or break your entire operation. You see, most people spend weeks trying to create a perfect channel setup. Do not be one of those people, because while they're busy creating the perfect channel, successful creators are already 3 videos deep learning what actually works, actually give views and actually makes money. And this is why I say don't spend more than 30 minutes thinking about your channel name. Go to ChatGPT, ask for suggestions, and just pick one. Your channel name, in my opinion, and in the last 5 years of experience, matters way less than you think. You're way better off focusing your energy on content quality instead. So as long as you pick something evergreen that won't box you in a specific niche later, you are good to go. I chose to go with vintage vehicles instead of muscle car legends or anything like that because it allowed me to later on talk about trucks, motorcycles, or whatever the data showed that worked. Now, to actually set up your YouTube channel, just copy what I did. First, set up a new Gmail account specifically for this and create a free YouTube channel. Second, you want to verify your phone number, your identity, and get your channel features enabled immediately. This is a crucial step that I see beginners make because this gives you access to longer uploads, custom thumbnails, and essential features. And third, set up your content management system. I use Trello boards for content planning, team communication, and video pipeline management. This might sound fancy and not needed in the beginning, but trust me, it'll prevent so many bottlenecks when you eventually scale to 3 or 4 videos per week. That being set up, you want to plan your first batch of content before publishing anything. I usually plan for 3, 5, maybe 7 or 10 videos before the first one goes live. What this allows you to do is not scramble for video ideas and can maintain consistent uploads with ease and peace of mind. For your first video now, I recommend you launch with good enough quality rather than spending every single second perfecting it. And this is because at this point, you're really just testing the waters. I think it's much better to post, get the data, and then improve over time by posting consistently and testing and trying to make tests better and better every time. So when you're starting out, make systems and consistency your focus, not perfection. Avoid the mistake of over-engineering the setup instead of getting content live because perfect is the enemy of good. So your channel is now set up and your team is ready to execute. Now comes the part that separates successful channels from the 95% that never make a single dollar. Step 4 is where you discover what actually makes money through data-driven content testing. This is one of the most important steps to making money because it determines everything else and it can massively influence your strategy and your posting frameworks, right? Now, what I want you to do is to follow this testing framework. Start by creating 3 to 4 different content angles within the chosen niche. Test them over 2 to 3 weeks, then double down on what the audience responds to. For vintage vehicles, I tested muscle cars, luxury cars, and pickup trucks. The muscle car content did okay, the luxury cars was mediocre, but pickup trucks absolutely exploded. This video right here outperformed everything else at that point by 300%. So this is the crucial insight that you need to understand. You choose your niche and your sub-niche chooses you based on the audience response, not on your personal preferences. So when the data tells you what works, just listen to it. Then once you find a winner, you want to use what I call the double down strategy. When pickup trucks proved to be successful, I posted 5 more pickup truck videos in the next 3 weeks. This aggressive double down accelerated my growth because most people do this backwards. They post one successful video, then go back to testing random stuff. Don't do that, and instead, when you find something that works, you want to squeeze everything you can out of it. Then you can find your second winning angle through systematic expansion. Test content that is similar to your first winner. To give an example, testing Jay Leno's car collection led to my celebrity vehicle sub-niche, and now I had 2 proven content pillars. What I want you to look for when you're testing is to identify what time periods, what personalities, or what specific angles your audience resonates with, so then you can create more content around those specific patterns. Do not be one of those people who find one video that gets them maybe 50,000 views or 100,000 views and they think they've made it and they keep making the same video over and over again until it stops working altogether and they quit their entire channel because they think they failed. That's not how you turn your Faceless channel into a real business. That's how you stay stuck, making pocket change while your competitors scale past you. I truly believe that the difference between channels that make a few $100 a month and channels that generate serious money, so thousands or tens of thousands, is what they do after they have found their first winner. Because finding winning content is just step 1. Turning that into consistent revenue is a completely different game. And that's why step 5 is all about scaling. This is where you go from testing content to building a real business. Now, to scale what's working and turn it into consistent revenue, first, you want to understand your monetization timeline. I would focus on watch time optimization from day 1. Create 15 to 20 minute videos with strong retention hooks every 3 to 4 minutes. The algorithm currently loves long-form content if people actually watch it enough. And with this approach, I hit YouTube monetization in 45 days. But remember, this was our specific timeline. Then once you identify your first winners, you want to increase your posting frequency to 3 to 4 videos per week, maybe even 5 if you have the means to. But it's very important that you only scale the content that's actually generating views and revenue. You are either doubling down or testing new videos. And now, just to give you an idea of what's possible if you follow this system, here's how the revenue of Vintage Vehicle progressed over time. Month 2 was our first $1,000 month, and this came from the pickup truck content alone, which proved that the model worked. By month 5, we hit $5,000 monthly by adding our second sub-niche to the niche, which I remember correctly, it's the Jay Leno sub-niche, and then posting consistently at 3 to 4 videos weekly, sometimes again trying to do 5. Month 6, we reached $8,500 a month by expanding our content to include proven formats like vintage trucks and motorcycles. So we got to about that $100,000 per year running in about 6 months, but it's actually in month 6 where Vintage Vehicles peaked at $17,000 monthly, mainly because we found more winners, we found more angles, more formats, and this was celebrity car collection. You see, I kept testing and expanding our successful sub-niches rather than just squeezing the same type of content over and over again. And don't get me wrong, we did that in the beginning, but eventually if you want to grow, you need to test more and just rinse and repeat the process. And as I mentioned earlier, each successful sub-niche gives you more budget and more room to test the next one and make even more money. For me, I found that pickup trucks made money and used that to test Jay Leno content, which made more money, and then used that to test motorcycles and vintage trucks. Now, not all tests work, but the key lesson here is that successful scaling is about consistently testing and expanding while maintaining the quality and the systems that got you there in the first place. Now, before we move on to step 6, I want to share 2 critical scaling mistakes that you absolutely must avoid. First, do not waste time optimizing old content. Focus your energy on creating new videos with better thumbnails, because for sure, when it comes to faceless channels, this will pay off much better. And second, never scale too fast without proven systems. You need systems for content planning, team communication, and quality control before ramping up production, because you want to scale smart, not just fast. It can all come down crumbling on you. Now, the next and final step is where most creators make a fatal mistake that costs them hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential value. Step 6 is thinking like a business owner from day one and not just like a content creator. And look, even if you plan to never scale your channel, these principles will make you more profitable and more sustainable in the long term. Now, here's exactly what you need to do to build real business value. First, document everything from day one. Ideally, you create SOPs and guides for every important aspect of your channel. How do you research content? How do you come up with titles? How do you brief your team? And how do you review the final videos? Ideally, you want to document it all and build financial tracking systems. Here, you want to track not just revenue, but cost per video, team expenses, and profit margins. You want to know your numbers at all times. The Vintage Vehicle channel generated $100,000 in AdSense revenue in its very first year of running, and then I was able to sell that for $100,000 plus an earnout. Third, it's important to create systems that run without your daily involvement. You want to build something that operates even if you go away in vacation, let's say. Now, this could mean good systems, automations, quality team members, and easily repeatable processes. Empire Flippers, the website where I sold the channel on, valued the channel based on consistent revenue, documented processes, the quality of the team, and growth. Now, building systems sounds fancy, but here's exactly how I do it and keep it very simple. First, you just want to create some spreadsheets where you track your content performance. Which content times perform best, which video durations work better than the others, or things like what video topics get the most engagement, because just documenting this stuff is going to give you a massive unfair advantage. Next, create simple SOPs or standard operating procedures using Google Docs. Define how you want your content to be published and how you want your files to be stored. This content management approach might seem unnecessary, but it's going to help you in the future, and it will also keep your team very, very organized. Then, of course, you want to use a project management software, because this will do 90% of the work for you. Whether you use tools like Trello, Asana, or Notion, doesn't really matter. Just make sure they have clear stages for each video, and more importantly, that your team knows exactly how to use it and how to go through those stages without you. And remember, this matters even if you never sell your channel, because these systems will force you to build a real business instead of just a content side hustle. You'll be more profitable, more scalable, and less dependent on your personal involvement when it comes to making money with your faceless channel.
I hope you got some value out of this video, so subscribe to my channel and check out the next one.